Dynamite, 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 dynamite. Welcome to Outlaw Radio, man.
Dino.
Outlaw Radio on code tonight, on code tonight. A revisioning and an amalgamation of all the conversations that we've had on the show, all the things we've discussed and debated and pontificated upon. Tonight is when it all comes to a head, when Hannibal said, I love when a plan come together. Welcome to the show. 262-202-5131 is the number you can call. I'm a little excited, as you can tell, juiced up. My name is Kevin Barnes. I'm the host of Outlaw Radio, also known in some circles as the Negro Whisperer. And depending on where you see me at, I may be labeled the hip-hop snob. But that's an entirely different show. I'm not alone. I got my co-host with me. My partner, my brother at arms, Mr. Carter, was popping with you.
Peace. How everybody doing out there? I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great, though, by the way. But yeah, how y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio, where we talk that talk and we definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevating thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you who I am, the black woman lover. I'm the black man's brother. I'm the coach and teacher, the hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. I'm y'all holistic health and wellness coach, Kamar Carter. Peace to the family. I'm also the one who brings you Nature's Nature Herbs and Supplements. You can find that on Facebook. You can find that at Honeybee Sage. You can find that at the Coogee Chocolate Co-op at the Sherman Phoenix. You can find me everywhere, man. But look, or you can just go to my Facebook page, Kamar Carter, inbox me. I'll tell you how to get it.
Coogee Chocolate. I like that word, Kev. I like that one. Even though it was by who came up with all that stuff. But I still like the word Coogee Chocolate. Say it fast.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Courtney. Welcome to the show. Real, what's good with you?
Chilling, man. Chilling. How y'all doing?
Man, welcome aboard Outlaw Radio on code, some for the people, right? We got a lot to talk about tonight, so welcome aboard. Shout out to Mikey Davis, my brother, the Deacon neighborhood. That's what's happening, one of the fellas.
Peace.
What up with you, mains? Man. Listen, Mondays, Wednesdays, Outlaw Radio's popping. The Big Black Sports Show will be back shortly. I'm gonna try to get it back next week. I slept on it this week. I was on some bullshit. But I'm gonna make amends for that next week and bring it back. But tonight, I want you to share the show. If you're listening, share the show. That's all I ask. Shout out to Vince Tony. Shout out to Vince Tony. Hit the Cash App, banged it real slick. Nice, thank you. But Vince has always been a supporter of the show, so that's no surprise. Always, like, you know, from day one. So shout out to Vince Tony, man. Now, don't get me wrong. It wasn't enough for everybody, but it went pretty far. You know, we got to sit down and talk about royalties and whatnot. So we'll talk. What percentage am I owed of that, Kevin? But look, man, it is Outlaw Radio on code tonight. I want to talk about, because listen, Kamar made me go listen to shit, right? He challenged my journalism. He challenged the journalist in me, right? He kept saying the other night, because I go back and listen to the show. So I'm listening to what motherfucker mean. I hear what you say, but I know what you mean. He said, Kevin, he says my whole name. Kevin, you got to go and watch it. And I said, I don't want to hear this shit. I don't even need to hear it. He said, no, go watch it. So I watched and listened to Kanye, right? I've watched and I've listened to a bunch of people who have opinions, and I've come to the conclusion that as people, foundational Black Americans, we have to get on code. Which means ultimately the little shit doesn't matter. The big picture is what's important. There is so much truth in what Kanye West, or as he wants to be referred to as Ye, in terms of the Jewish business agenda. This is not anti-Semitic. And I haven't been converted to a Kanye fan. I'm saying, you know, you put your money where your mouth is, right? So I'm looking at it for what it is. Now, I'm still going to call him for some of the goofy shit he said, right? That gets no pass. But the fact, when you start kicking me out of banks, and you start kicking me off social media, and you start blackballing me outright, like in public, you ain't even trying to hide it. That I have a problem with that, because of something I said. Because of something I said, which wasn't insulting in its nature. It was factual about the way they dominate and conduct business in this country. So I wanted to say that off top. I still don't agree with the foolishness, but I do think this is important enough for us to get on code, which means we need to see who the people that or hear what the people who matter. I want to know what the minister thinks about this. I'd love to hear Farrakhan's opinion. We can get on code.
And
Okay,
you know
this is
how
how
I
we
feel.
roll.
Hey, it's exactly that, man. It's like, remember I was saying, okay, we ain't gonna completely agree with nobody. You know what I mean? You never completely agree with anybody. You know what I mean, about everything.
Right.
And we have to figure out what's important for us and where we can agree and ride on that note. You know what I'm saying? As much as possible, and try to leave all the other bullshit to the side. But we also have to try to agree to stick to that.
Well, I think that, and shout out to Sair. I see you, my brother. Welcome to the show.
Peace.
I forgot to say the number is 262-202-5131. If you want to chime in, the chat room is popping as usual. Share the show. Share the show wherever you are listening to it. Just share it. That's all we ask. Go to the YouTube page, subscribe, and all of that. But I'm saying, Kamar, there's still room for contention. I still, as an individual, can call my brother on his bullshit and say, hey, man, what the fuck? That's some dumb shit. And he said, okay, you didn't agree with that. And I say, yeah, but I'm going to still ride with you on that. Right. And I think there's going to take some rallying around him. As I didn't want to admit this. We may have to rally and rescue him. And I don't think he gives a shit about us on a certain level. Because I know he's a supreme egomaniacal type of individual, but he is a man of color. He is a foundational Black American, and he's taking a stance against some very powerful corporations. I wouldn't even say individuals. So I would say in that regard, we got to come and be on code with that. Because like we said, we've been critical. We've been critical of the stance he's taken on other things, but this one is important. Right. This one is very important, and their reaction
and a lot of that other shit we all agree on too.
Right?
And like you know what I mean? That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We all agree on that. You know?
Right. That's why Kamar, a couple weeks back when we did this show called Blacklash, and on that show I tried to explain that there's a difference between you receiving backlash from the rank and file and everybody. But when you have criticism or contention, as I call it in your community, amongst us as Black people, it's called blacklash, right? We'll forgive some shit and overlook some shit, but it's some shit we will do a real cancellation of real quick, right? But that needs to be amongst us. That needs to be handled amongst us, because that's how other races handle theirs. They handle it in-house. We have a bad habit of spilling all our shit out the house into the street and inviting certain kinds of energy into our homes. So for the sake of solidarity, I don't know if people even understand what that word means. I'm not even talking like kumbaya. I'm not talking about, oh yes, I want to live like you, do what you do, eat what you eat, dress like you dress. I'm saying I want what you want as a Black person, which is empowerment, right, in this country, above and beyond everything else. I don't want you to say, let's be diverse. So then that means we're going to let you in based on certain whatevers. And who knows who the gatekeeper behind the bullshit is. We need to have access to the resources so we can create our own situations for each other. You feel me? Like there needs to be more Black businesses, and I shout out to all small Black business owners. But I'm talking about there needs to be some Black investment groups, and I'm sure there are, that are making moves, playing this game like the Jewish ones that Kanye is critical of are doing. You know, who in this country is naive enough to not understand what he's talking about when he's criticizing Jewish people? Go ahead, Kamar.
You're right. I was just finna say, like when you was talking about, you know what I mean, Black investment groups and stuff like that. We talking about a motherfucker that's like willing to go against the grain, you know what I'm saying? And he got money to really put in with these investment groups, possibly. You know what I'm saying? If there's something that could happen, you know what I mean? It could definitely line up together.
I think it's all about pressure, and I think what they can do to him right now, what they've attempted to do. Because if you look at this, by me removing you off of social media, by me kicking you out the bank, which I don't know. I don't know if people understand how banking works. They need your money so
Right.
that they can survive and thrive, right?
Hey,
That's why you say,
I'm sure somebody else was more than welcome, and you know what I
well,
mean? Like,
I
come on,
bet
Kanye.
you. Fucking rush card. Are you serious?
Come on, man.
Man, put that shit on the card. But so I'm saying, like, what people don't understand is you got $2 million. Somebody gives you $2 million. This is yours. You go to a bank, you put it in the bank. They keep it overnight. If it's a check, they say it has to clear. If it's cash, they say it'll be available immediately. There's also some federal regulations that have to transpire when you put that much money in the bank. But here's the deal: come back a week later and say, I want 1 million of the two I put in there. I want it back in cash. They'll be like, we ain't got that shit here. We have to set up an arrangement to even, and that has to be cleared on some high levels. Well, it's my money. I just gave it to you a week ago because it's already loaned out and they've already started to charge interest on. Banks loan people money too, but that money that they're loaning is the money that the people who put their money in there. It's their money, right? Like, so you playing with house money when we talking about banking. Okay, they put him out of there. You kick him off social media for this shit. All this kind of, who else is powerful enough to do these kinds of things if not this benevolent empire that he's talking about? You feel me? It shows you that they are what he says they are.
Yeah.
When
By doing what they doing.
It's unprecedented. When have you ever seen this happen? Once again, I'm not on here like Kanye. Woo, 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 woo. I'm saying on code, when we're on code as people of color, black people in the know, we work through the facts, right?
We're talking about what's important to us.
Right. We chew up the fish and spit out the bones. So when we're talking about being on code as black people, we have to know the ins and outs of a situation. But the fact that this dude is saying this kind of stuff, and it didn't even take 2-3 weeks. Who in the hell are the lawyers involved in this that can do this shit? So usually you kick me off social media, you kick me out of bank. You got a week to get all your money out. Listen, we understand who controls finances for the most part in this country. Those are Jewish people. This is not an anti-Semitic sentiment, is what I'm saying to you. Right? But it is the truth about the way business in corporate America has been conducted for a very long time. Bottom line. So I'm saying, as a foundational black American, I'm going to be less critical of his insanity because obviously he's smoking some good ass weed, and be more mindful. And be more mindful of what he's doing, because what they're going to do is they're going to try to apply pressure to him. Pressure bust pipes. It'll drive you crazy. If they can shut down everything you have, you're like, God damn, okay. Right? Okay, shit. But you can't do that to him, especially by giving him his money back. Thank you. Because if your market crashed tomorrow, you just gave me all my money back. I'll be the richest motherfucker in the world. So we just have to look at what he's standing on in that regard. Some of the other bullshit he can miss me with. Some of the narcissistic, crazy shit.
I think all the other stuff. I think all the other antics and stuff is to draw attention.
Okay, you don't need it.
I know he don't, but I mean, it's just fuel. It's fuel for the fire. You know what I'm saying? It's fuel for the fire. Everybody can see him now. You know what I mean? Like anything they do to him, everybody can see it. It's an eye always on him. You know. Right.
Shout out to Tiarsha Arthur. She said,
and not only that. I was just reading today, man. It was a couple different things I skimmed across. I really didn't read it good, but it's another social media, something that's connected to Twitter. Y'all may know about. I don't fuck with Twitter, so I don't know about it. But it's another social media connected to. You know Parler? What I mean? That Kanye was talking about trying to buy.
Parler. He bought it.
Parler, yeah. So you know what I mean? Like, how do you block a motherfucker out once you got so much money? You know what I mean? Like, could that really just be a figment of our imagination? That they can block us out?
I was saying this might be the best thing to happen for us because Kanye is one of the only people who got enough bread to say, fuck it, I don't need y'all's, I'll buy my own.
Well, no, there's other Magic could do the same thing, except for he's in bed with a lot of, you know.
And you know what?
Yeah, he can't really do
that. I really hope a lot of entertainers or motherfuckers with money, even if they can't do it publicly, Do that shit secretly. Or put some money towards the cause. You know what I'm saying? Put some
There,
money
there,
towards
uh,
against the machine. You know what I mean?
there may be
Put
some
some money where your
opportunity.
mouth is now. You know what I mean? You ain't got to use your name. You ain't got to put it on social media.
Might be some opportunity in this insanity. Tiarsha Arthur said, "Good evening, Kev, Kamar, Rail, and the Outlaw family. What's happening, my
Good
sister?"
evening.
Zaire said all they did was prove him right. Shout out to
Mm-hmm.
Mullins. What's happening,
Right.
Alicia? What's going on? What's going on? My
It's
former
almost like the Dave Chappelle thing with the when he was saying what he was saying, and then they basically proved him right, trying to tackle him and shit like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They gave him there's validity to his argument right now because of the way they attacked him. Sire said he should call for all his fans and followers to leave that bank too. Yeah, we know that's a little bit tougher though, because we ain't Kanye. We spent our money on your album. We ain't got shit in there. I only got
They
$50.
mad at Kanye right now.
Bought them $200 ugly ass shoes for my son. I ain't got no money
but on
left.
the real though, but I mean, you can still switch banks.
Look at Kobe. He's Kobe Lloyd. Shout out to Kobe Lloyd. He said, if blacks weren't here, there would not be a need for money. I don't know. I think there's always been some form of currency, no matter what the civilization was. There's always been. If it wasn't, it was bartering. Motherfucker give you a donkey for a coat and shit, right? Take my donkey.
Energy, some kind of energy for energy, right? Some kind of work for work.
So I'm saying, first of all, I want to say the number's 262-202-5131. And I've heard that this concept of being on code is controversial because people think it suggests groupthink or they think that it means there's no accountability for certain shit. And I'm saying that's absolutely false because it involves all of that because that's what we believe in. See, black people have gotten away from the fact that we have always had and still have in a lot of senses a real strong sense of morality. Black people are not savages. That narrative was placed upon us by the.
It ain't in our nature. It ain't in our nature. It ain't in our DNA.
It's not even in our right. So it's an irony. It's a tragic irony that when you look at our community, that the focus and a lot of times is what happens is surrounding the violence, and people say, well, that's what they're about. I can tell most people who listen to my show, and I can say this in front of millions of people. If you meet 10 black people, 7 of them gonna be the coolest motherfucker you ever met in your life. You will be like, that motherfucker. I mean, I had a goddamn good time. You heard me cracking up, man. This motherfucker will be calling you, inviting you to shit. You be like, man, I love black people. But 3 of them son bitches will steer you off a cliff. You just gotta know. You just gotta know which one to flow with. And it's room because I fucked with both sides, and they still good people too. So I'm saying that to say, but our opinion of ourselves is that, oh shit, we're fucked up. Like oh man, what's wrong with black people, right? What's wrong with we say that amongst ourselves, but that's cool for us to say that because that indicates that we understand that there's things that need to be done. That's on code.
We understand that there's something wrong.
We can and we can have those conversations and look for solutions amongst ourselves. That's what that creates, as opposed to us always depending or waiting on somebody to mediate us. Please help us establish businesses. Can we get some grant? And I'm not saying, look, that grant money is duly deserves, just like reparations. But I'm saying we're in a position where, what if we just collectively or collectivize, as he said in the movie, put the shit together and got on one code and say, you know what, it's us. Fuck it, you know what? Y'all ain't fucking with Kanye on that level. That shit's true. We fucking with him. Take our money over here somehow, some way. For me, I'd need parameters with Kanye because he can be a little bit off the cuff. And when he say silly shit, I get upset. But ultimately, I'm saying the big picture is that we stay intentionally displaying solidarity. Letting these motherfuckers know y'all can't get in here. We circling the wagons. That's what I feel like on code is. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I've been talking a lot. Damn, I was excited. What's going on?
I was excited.
I was excited and shit, right? Oh stimulated.
Well, it's real, you know what I mean? Like with everybody, man. You got to get to take the meat and leave the bone. You know what I mean? You can't agree with everything everybody do, man. You know what I'm saying? And we got to understand that with each other.
Right. G Mizzle Capone, long time no see, my brother. What's going on with you, man?
What's up, bro?
It's time to build an empire. G-Mo used to rock with us heavy. Sayer said the most shocking thing to me was how scared Drink Champs was and Noria and Nori apologized. Hell, for what's that? That's that man opinion.
Hey,
Listen,
and
let
what's
me,
crazy?
and that even is troublesome because Alicia Mullins said exactly. That's troublesome because, and this is what I heard. What Ye say? Yeah, on the Breakfast Club, they're on my heels. But who owns the Breakfast Club? Who owns the
But,
station that they're that right? Who owns all of that shit?
yeah, he said fuck Puffy too on that motherfucker.
Right, right. Yeah, man. He said he's the feds, right? He's like, man, I'm gonna make an example out of you.
Hey
But
man, listen, man. On all that serious shit, yeah, he ain't been lying, dog. So
I just need
he could be exposing a lot of motherfuckers and shit.
I need for him to get his shit together though, because if we're gonna be on code with him, there's some parameters, there's some goddamn conditions and some stipulations to this shit. Because
But
we don't rock with no foolishness. Go
you
ahead,
know,
Courtney.
this is the way I feel about Trump, though. You know what I'm saying? When they busting up in where he at, and they go looking for paperwork, and he's saying he ain't got the paperwork. I feel like the paperwork is some shit to have on their ass. They talking about you ain't supposed to have it, but he got this paperwork just in case some shit blow up. The black owls all over the motherfucking media. He done put some shit out that they've been hiding. But you never know. I feel like, I know if I became president, I would too. Let me find a motherfucking secret document. I'm holding on to that bitch just in case y'all ever. And I'm gonna give it to some people. Like as soon as y'all, they're gonna release it. Know that. But
I hope they don't replay this footage during your election. during your campaign.
Definitely gonna find it, right?
All right. Vote for her.
Right.
You be on that. They had you on that Mandela Bar shit, and Courtney wants to get rid of the police.
Right.
Look, Cam, start the podcast over. We gotta take it from the top.
right. It's live. You know that, right? No, T.R. Arthur said Kanye is a billionaire. We should think about that. He's seen some things behind closed doors, meaning he's seen things that us non-billionaire people haven't seen.
Right.
He's basically telling it. He just says some things silly before he gets his points out. Totally understandable. But I need for you to get your shit together, though. See, because you have a duty. So he's stepping out here. Don't try to act like you can do this without us. You say you got enough money. No, he needs us. And unless he respects what it takes to have us on his side, then we don't need to fucking support him. That's where we go back to. This shit has to ultimately be about the people. If it's not about us as a people, you're on some bullshit and you need to get isolated and ostracized. Alicia Mullins said K Makeup Inc. is the conduit of the community. Reach out if you have business that expose building a community. Okay. Put the link in the chat room, Alicia. Put the link in. I'm trying to get Alicia on to talk about this organization
So
for a
what you
minute.
think Kanye should be doing? How should he be going about this thing, Kev? If you were Kanye with all this money, how would you?
The first thing I would do is I would sit down with the minister. He's from Chicago. The minister's in Chicago. I'm pretty sure that they know they're very very much acquainted. I would sit down with the minister and have a spiritual cleansing, because I would explain what my issues are. And he maybe he's done this. I'm still waiting to see what Minister Farrakhan says. People say, damn, I didn't know you follow Farrakhan like that. Farrakhan is a tangible leader. Minister Farrakhan is one of the most relevant and important leaders we've had since they slowed up on the assassinations. I said they slowed up on them because they ain't quit. We know that. But I'm saying Minister Farrakhan's word means something. It's something that we can apply to being on code with what the minister say. Okay. Once again, there's room for contention. If you say, well, I don't agree with him on that. Okay, that's fine. But ultimately the big picture is his concern and what we should be focused on.
Hopefully there's something like that is coming, because you would think with the shit that he's talking about, you would think the minister will reach out to him.
Absolutely. And I'm saying,
because of the shit that what he talking about, that's the same thing the minister be on.
But if you really, here we go. This your initiation into this foundational Black American gang, the FBA gang. This your initiation. You got to sit down with Farrakhan like you sat down with Trump. I want you to put on a FOI t-shirt or some gear like you did the Trump hat.
Yeah.
Now that they on your heels. I need for you to sit with the minister and do this spiritual cleansing. I don't want that to be public because that, in order for it to be real, it has to be confidential and private. But just to even talk about your obsession with this Slavic white, what is she? Bohemian? What is Kim Kardashian? What they call her? I don't know. Bolivian? What is she?
Hey, kid, we can't put the stipulations on a lot of the bullshit because we was just saying that's the shit we want to leave alone. We don't even want to, you know
No,
what I'm saying? Let the minister talk to him about that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Kamar. That's what ultimately I think his spiritual cleansing should be, to say, well, let's talk about this whole situation. And then let the minister say, okay, because he spoke with Michael Jackson. And while I was always saying Michael went full retard later on in his life, when the minister says no, I had conversations with him that was this and this and that. I said, okay, I can accept that. I'm on code with that. And that's where we have to be. She said, okay, Alicia's telling me off. She said, ain't no link. The whole point is stepping away from the media bullshit. Reach out to purpose to prosperity 7176 at gmail.com. Thanks, Kevin. Shout out to Alicia. She always talking about that's her mission, her what they call it, her ministry. Shout out to Carrie Walker Jones. She said Armenian. Yes, she's Armenian. She's a gypsy woman.
Yeah.
Right. He's gone over the cliff. And what did he say that was prophetic in his song? And you stay tight, girl. And when he get on, he leave your ass for a white girl. He's talking about himself. Ewok, welcome to the show, man. Outlaw Radio on code, something for the people. What's on your mind?
On code, what's on my mind is what y'all talking about, man. As soon as the minister get done, if it does happen, talking to this nut, he gonna say something stupid to his cult, and they gonna be against the minister. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, Bearcon shouldn't have said that to him then. Bearcon ain't nobody. They ain't pie bow tie wearing motherfucker. See, that's how far and deep the rabbit hole goes with this dude, man. Oh, self-ass self. He a self motherfucker, dude. Man, fuck Kanye West.
Wait a minute.
I'm standing on it. I'm standing on it like I'm standing on it. I'm standing on it, man.
All right.
Soon as the cult followers, goddamn it, hear him say, well, I had a conversation with the minister, but he ain't on. He gonna say he gonna sit there and tell this man he ain't on code, or this man then studied under. You don't got to believe everything that the Muslims do. But as soon as he say something that he dislike about the FOI, man, the cult that he has is going to say something ignorant, talking about well, his mama died. Man, I'm sick of this Kanye shit, period. Fuck dude, man.
Oh, we on fire tonight. I love it. Share this show, goddamn it. Y'all better share this shit, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Man, real talk, man.
Listen.
Yeah.
Ewok, let me say this to you, though. By no means am I a member of any Kanye cult or anything of the sort. What I'm doing right now is I'm separating the lie from the jive, right? And a lot of shit we say in jest, and we be on some bullshit. Like, I'm gonna tell you like this: within the confines of what we do on Outlaw Radio, there's a lot of knowledge passed. There's a lot of information distributed and disseminated, but it's a lot of bullshit too. We get on here sometimes and be talking about some straight up bullshit, and you can't discount the validity of the message for that. Now, I'm saying we don't have to support Kanye on his lunacy. But
he trying to pull Cube into the shit too, though. Cube like, man, leave me out of that shit, man. Cube like, dog, I ain't with you on that shit, man.
Cube headed for the hills like, I'm trying to get Friday 4 coming out, man. What the fuck you doing?
Right. But they try to fuck with my big three and shit. Here you come with this anti-Semitic, what they call anti. I don't believe in that anti-Semitism anyway. You can't say nothing about Jewish people without them saying that word. Like, that word is the most powerful word in the world.
Ernest,
come on, man.
You have to admit, even with all of his lunacy, that the way they reacted was so venomous and so visceral that the empire that he's talking about is absolutely positively real and solid.
We know this, though.
But okay, so
we know this. Kanye ain't the first person to talk about them damn Jewish people.
No, he's not.
You know
why are we as people of color not saying, well, that's nothing new? We're on code with that. We agree with him on that shit. We run in front of
agree with it.
Cube should have said,
but we've been through that.
Cube should have said, I don't have nothing to do with this, but I understand what he's saying, because Cube has been critical of Jewish people before in his music, in his message.
Yeah, you let a Jew break up my crew.
Right. Okay.
Well, you know what? I think Cube, though, I think if something was to actually formulate out of this shit, you know what I mean? I believe Cube will be one of the motherfuckers to put some money up under there. You know what I'm saying?
I think Cube is jaded.
Probably, I don't think he would be boisterous.
Nobody want to lose their money, man. Nobody.
But you know how Prince used to help a lot of people, and you never heard nothing about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I believe it's a lot of people that's like that. You know what I mean? If someone was to actually organize, like, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a lot of celebrities that would put to it, man, and it would actually help. And that's really what he was saying, man. He just want motherfuckers to ride with him on that.
I think Cube is jaded because of what with his platinum plan, the way black people acted. And if I was Cube, rightfully so, I'd be saying the same shit. Like, man, fuck them. I'm trying to get this little league going. The motherfuckers ain't because they handled the man rough when he tried to do something. Now, well, we don't know, and hopefully this is the case, and maybe this is something that could be put into place where Cube actually turned around and called him and said, "Look, man, I'm with you and shit, but I got shit going on. Don't be saying my name and shit, bro. This is like we gonna do business. Just keep it a buck, man. Don't be. And you know he's so off. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then the next day, like, he called me last night and said, like what
one thing's for sure, two's for certain, man. Cube ain't never been off code.
Name in some shit, man. Get out of here.
Hey, Cube ain't never been off code.
It's like, you know, he always run to the coat. Kanye always run to the coat when he on some emotional shit. Y'all ain't saying nothing about this bitch kidnapping my baby.
Okay.
The coat is his followers and shit. Okay. People that really do like him and love everything, they stand on everything that he say. So the coat is the people that be like, yeah, Kim Kanye didn't let him see his baby. Well, look, that's his baby too. And she's celebrating and shit, and she said that he knew the address the whole time. You know what I'm saying? He knew the fuck where they was, but he getting on crying on. That's crybaby shit, dog.
Hold on.
You know what I'm saying? It's niggas on the regular street when see they damn baby. What make him different?
Hold on, I'm looking at the comments, and Micah Israel said the minister is for NOI. However, Kanye simply came out with the truth that blacks are Jews and Kanye is not a Muslim. I'm not saying that he is a Muslim. I'm not saying that he is. I'm saying that in terms of us as foundational black Americans, who do we recognize as a leader? And I'm saying it's Farrakhan, Minister Farrakhan. So I would respect Farrakhan really having a discussion with him and talking to him, and whatever he came out of that and said how we should move.
So
I'd be more inclined to rock with that. So, but
that was just a misinterpretation.
Right. I know he ain't no Muslim.
Right.
Sayer said, "Well, damn," because you was snapping. Michael Nixon said, "Power, strength." Kerry Walker Jones said, "Wait, what do the muscle bound arm emoji mean?" I said, "Strength." What do it mean, Courtney?
I mean, you know, it mean like strong. It mean like that's right.
100, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but what code are we trying to get to, Kev? I mean, we need to be on code. What code would you like that to be?
Okay.
If all of us could be on a code somehow, some way. Because, you know, me growing up, there was no code. So I'm going to say, if I grew up not knowing of any code.
It's always been a code.
These kids.
It's always been a code.
Okay.
It's always been a code.
A little bit.
It hasn't.
Yeah, well, we got to get on code with this, man. Excuse me for interrupting, man. You know, I'm 1,000 partners for that, for all of y'all. It's not being on code when he get on Twitter and whatever the hell else programs that they got out there and shit for social media to listen to, crying, talking about my wife kidnapped my baby. Dude, go home, handle that shit. You know where they at, dog. You know how to find your kid, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that
you trying to use your followers. It's niggas that can't see their baby all over the United States of America and they ain't did shit wrong and shit. What make him so special where he gonna sit there and say, well, y'all ain't got my back because y'all, like we, the people, allow Kim Kardashian to take her own kid to a birthday party.
Did he accuse us of that? Who did he accuse of that? I don't think
he did say that. No, he did say that out loud. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all should have my back. He repeatedly said, y'all should have my back.
He went into that on a Drink Champs, and he was talking about different celebrities. You know what I mean? When he talked about how they kidnapped his kids and he couldn't see his kids and stuff, and all the celebrities was talking shit about him instead of being like, wait a minute, man, hold on, he can't see his kids. What's happening? But instead, they jumped on him on his case.
Man, that's personal. He know how to find. He know how to find where his baby at though. Come on, he ain't got to go to social media to find his fucking kid.
Do that.
Well, we lose it. This is how we lose focus. This is how we lose focus. That is his personal, private life with his family. Even though it's in the media, I don't have.
That's exactly what I just said.
I don't have anything to do with that, and I'm not formulating my opinion about the truth that he spoke about Jews regarding that. That's apples and oranges to me. And I know a million brilliant motherfuckers who've called me and said some dumb shit, whether they was drunk or high or whatever, just
No doubt.
triggered emotionally. So I can't always say I ain't fucking with you because you.
I'm pretty sure I'm one of them. Shit.
I'm not saying no names. Right?
I admit to the shit, goddamn it, but that don't make me stupid.
No, so that means when it comes to you being violated, pause, not like that, but I mean your rights and all this kind of thing in any shape, form, or fashion. As a black man, I say, no, I got your back. I'm gonna hold you down. I'm not gonna say I would help you out if I can, but I'm not, because you called me talking shit last night. Because you said some wild shit one night. Fuck you. I'm not fucking with you. So I'm not saying Kanye is a perfect. That's what I'm saying. The cult thing for me is far-fetched in terms of my opinion, because I'm like, who the fuck is who's cultish behind him? I'm just recognizing something that's tangible, which is his attack.
A cult leader is somebody.
On a
cult leader is somebody who plays on people who really are interested in what they have to say, and they use it in a way that's not fucking legitimate or not righteous. So if you're a cult leader, you're not being all the way righteous and shit. You sitting there and you displaying a certain type of feeling towards something, and you get these people to follow you. If you drink the Kool-Aid, if the people drink the Kool-Aid, yeah, you is.
Is he a cult leader?
If the people drink the Kool-Aid, yeah, you want. If you the one that got the Kool-Aid, yeah.
That don't turn me into a cult leader just because y'all like what I got to say. You know what I'm saying? And I got a couple of dollars and y'all want to follow me. Even if I didn't have this money, I'd be saying the same shit maybe. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you listen, maybe not. You know, maybe I just have a little YouTube or something. But we can't just make him a cult leader and all this other shit because people like what he say. Because people agree and have these
this motherfucker riding into calling himself Jesus and shit, riding on horses and shit that he fell off.
It's people in Milwaukee call themselves God.
You ain't said nothing about Jay-Z.
What's the difference?
I think we are Jesus.
Exactly, Kamar. It's plenty of people walking around calling themselves God.
I think we are Jesus, and we need to look at ourselves highly like that, man. Because see, first off, you're a spiritual being.
Not trying to think. I'm not.
So, like, yeah, I
talk about reverends and I talk about politicians too. You know, a liar is a liar, and all of them don't. You know what I'm saying? All of them get the wrath of Ewok. You know what I'm saying? I call out everybody who ain't righteous to me.
Right.
What he lie about?
Well, I ain't just jumping on Ye. Jay on some bullshit right now.
Okay, we get your opinion. You got a right to your opinion on Outlaw Radio. That's for damn sure.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but hold on. So let's wind it in. Just calm down a little bit. Everybody woosah for a minute.
No doubt. No doubt.
Get fired up. Calm down. All right.
No doubt. It's all crazy with me, man. I ain't bothered this shit.
Blessings, family. Erica Ville said a cult means hidden. I can't Facebook user. I don't know who it is. How can you tell a person who they should be? I'm look, once again, what you have to do in order to do effective research is you have to remove personal bias. Because if any of your bias is involved, your data will be skewed, right? You have to, and that is an ability that good researchers have, is that I'm gonna look for the truth, whether it's in my favor or what I thought it would be, or whether it's not. I'm gonna take all of the facts that I can, put them together, and try to determine what it was. I'm not here or there on it. So
that's a good game plan.
So what we're talking about is he talking about something real over here? Yes, he is. It's like a motherfucker who got a real case at work. He probably is a fuck off artist, but he's like, nah, man, I got a case. I'm about to sue these motherfuckers. And you say, oh, I would say your lawsuit is fraudulent because you be talking shit when you ain't at work. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's madness over here. That's the problem that celebrity creates, and that's his narcissism. But that's also his personal business. What he do with Kim Kardashian and his kids, I ain't whatever. Because like you said, there's millions of us on the front lines who got issues in our families. That's a problem in the black community, a breakdown of the black family structure. So I'm just talking about with this Jewish thing. That's what I'm looking at. All the rest of that shit is fine. When you start taking people's shit down and kicking them out of banks, that is an evil empire.
Yeah,
and
everything that he said about that is true. Right. My fault, Kev.
No, that
everything that he said is true about that. But we knew that already. They run shit.
Well,
we knew that.
So you can't
it
be
ain't like he enlightened us. We knew that shit.
It's a lot of people who obviously did know. If they're worried, they wouldn't have been able to do what they done to him because they still wouldn't be that empowered.
Or they would have been able to do what they done to us because they've been nailing us to the cross
forever.
forever.
Michael Israel said there are now several Hebrew Israelite camps and a lot of well-known celebrities, Horace Grant, Brian Casey, etc., joining these camps. Instead of him talking to the minister, I would say he should talk to Guerrilla Hebrew Bishop Nathaniel, etc., and get more education about that truth that we are in fact Jews. You know what? I'm not familiar with them, and that's why I didn't name them.
You know what? With
I didn't name none of them.
I agree with the point about getting with him to get more information, right? Because remember with Nick Cannon, I said the problem with Nick Cannon was he didn't know what to come back with behind that statement. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have enough information.
Y'all was talking about the stay on code thing. So let's go there. You know what I'm saying? His code is selfish as a motherfucker. He started bringing information that he got that he think that's in his head. He started bringing it out when somebody done something to him. Now he wants you to be on code. Just watch every action, how he rotate, how he motate, how he move around. He don't say shit positive or something that's you can let me finish and then you can disagree. Every time that he feel bad about a situation, he get on that crybaby ass shit, and then he start, wanting to say something real half slick and shit. But what do he actually do? Everything is about him. Dude is a narcissistic, selfish motherfucker, man. Just because he say something that you already know. Look, this is Outlaw Radio. I'm saying how I feel about this man. This is how I feel. These are the words that I'm using, Kev. Every time that he feel like somebody did him wrong, that's when he wanted people to be on code with him. Be on code with me now. Be on code with me now.
It ain't
but
him
then he
saying
go off and say some stupid shit.
It ain't him saying it because I don't think he's even. I don't even think right now he's even knowledgeable enough to really put it in words and articulate what it means. I'm saying it. I'm suggesting it as a countermeasure to the divisive shit that we keep going through every day about when one of us takes a stand. Right? Like it's like when you get beat up by the police and they put the narrative on, well, this motherfucker been in jail 3-4 times. Right, he's a pill popper, crack dealer. He fucked his baby mama one time and cheated on his girl and his grandmother and all this shit. And it's like that don't got shit to do with the fact that they just beat the shit out of him for no reason, right? Is that justification for him to be mistreated because he's a little off center? I would say not. Tiasha Arthur said he has a church in the hills and the members have to wear certain robes. The caller is correct. Kanye is another Jim Jones. I seen it on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Okay, you got a supporter. Outlaws make strange bedfellows, right?
Shit, it's about being a supporter. It's about, just recognizing what's right before your eyes. So if don't nobody agree with me, that's fine with me. At least I see. You know what I'm saying?
I don't. That's kind of tunnel vision though, because I it's not that other people don't see it. When I say question him as a cult leader. Because even though there may be a dedicated throng of people who do these kinds of things for him, show me where they're moving in separating themselves and like most behavior of cults where they separate themselves and go live off somewhere and it's incest and rape and molestation and people getting fucked up.
It's different now.
When it goes into that, when it goes there,
Jim Jones didn't have the internet.
When it goes there, that's when I'll say, oh, this motherfucker right here. Now the code would dictate that now he gets removed. We ain't with that shit. Like we supported R. Kelly for a long time. The jig is up. We know to be on code is to say we love your music, but we ain't fucking with you. You fuck with little young girls. That's the code.
Right, and you know what? That's the obvious. It's right there in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You make a decision right then and there. I still listen to 12 play and shit, but hey man, you reap what you sow though at the same time. Shit. You reap what the fuck you sow.
He named the album too. He said 12 play.
I was 12 because you was 12.
I mean, and look, like I said, Michael Jackson was a weirdo. Prince, people say he was a weirdo. Somebody just talked about the fact that he did a lot of things undercover that for other people, and he's helped a lot of people and probably donated a lot of money. But there was some shit in terms of his what do they call it? His eccentricism. That it was like, that's weird, bro. You got high heel boots on with like some tight ass.
Guess what? Michael Jackson made a song like, all I want to say is they don't really care about us.
And then they made him take that shit down.
Kanye going a whole different way. He's going a whole different way. Fuck y'all, white lives matter and shit.
The same people that took Michael Jackson's song down are the people that Kanye is talking about right now.
Right.
It's the same group of people. And as far as And as far as somebody saying, well, go see the Hebrew Israelites and all of this, listen.
Yeah, my white guy was right there. He talking about the white power.
Right. I don't over religiousize this. I said
No
the
doubt.
minister because the minister has shown and illustrated that he's a very, very strong-minded, very conscious brother who really knows what's what. And there's really, and he's even gotten away from be a member of the nation or you can't receive my message. He's more into saying, no, this is the truth. Whether
I feel like it should be a
even a
council of
religious
these
thing.
leaders.
So I don't think we need to have him go see every black religiously. Go sit down with TD Jakes.
I feel like I feel like it ought to be. I feel like
Everybody's
it ought to be a
everybody's
council.
structure is different. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Everybody has to go through a structural thing. You know, you got to go through hygiene. Some people can make you do your hygiene, do your learning skills, and all of that shit, man. You know, because if you're gonna be about something, you got to be about yourself first. You know what I'm saying? That I don't consider that difficult. I feel like that's something that's helping you. Nigga, don't walk around funky. No, you know what I'm saying? Create your body is your temple and shit. Blah blah blah. You respect it. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that.
People might even ask.
Man.
People might even ask why we still talking about this shit. To be honest with you,
because they don't care. But
I use this as an
care
example.
because
It's an example. It's an example of we keep talking about problems, but we want to talk about solutions. And if the solution for us is not solidarity and unity, then tell me what the fuck it could possibly be. It has to be some sort of structure established amongst us that unite and mobilize us. And there has to be parameters and there has to be structure to it. And it's got to be morals and principles involved. If we don't get back to that,
you know how many?
If we don't get back to
do you know how many?
that, I want to put all of the he said this and he did it. He would do it. First of all, that organization, those people he's attacking, they own the same media that's showing you little bits and pieces of what he says here and there. So we don't even know if he actually said
Exactly.
Can I make one little quick? Can I make a real quick point, Miss Francois and come on.
Go
hey,
ahead.
You got Fat Joe, Snoop Dogg, you got everybody. All right, come on. Well, let me say it then. Goddamn. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we got all these people that say that they love this man. You know what I'm saying? We got all these people that saying that they love him, but they against what he's doing right now, man. You got Snoop. You got everybody like, man, they still saying they embracing him.
Did you say
they
Snoop?
still saying they love him.
Did you say Snoop?
Huh?
You said
it's celebrities. There's people that's still worried about they.
Well, maybe Snoop just saying that. Well, I'm telling you, but they feel like that he just doing. Wait. They feel like that he doing too much.
Wait,
so maybe
they don't want to give black
wrong. Don't quote me.
Well, no. I just want to get it straight because the Crip said that he was wrong, and that's who we ride. When Snoop is against it, I'm against it.
Right.
Really? That's what you? Okay. Well, Snoop. And I know you didn't. You said Snoop, so I just went at you about it.
They ain't trying to get
I'm talking about Fat Joe. Everybody sitting there like, hey man, they embracing him still. Like, I love him. I
was just gonna say, all those people broke compared to Kanye.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen.
It ain't about money. It ain't about
all them people worried. All them people worried about. All them people worried about the shit he talking about happening to them. That's why they won't say nothing out front.
Scared nigga shit, right?
They worry that the media gonna get at their ass
you
too.
Think Willie D worried about being blackballed? Willie D, goddamn it, don't give a fuck. He got a podcast, and Willie D, he be coming at this man all day, hard the motherfucker. Like, man, fuck
but you know what? And I'm glad
Willie
you said
D don't
that.
give a fuck about no blackball.
Hold on. I'm glad you said him. I'm glad you said Willie D.
Shit,
because
man.
as much as I agree with a lot of the stuff Willie D says, he crossed the line and was out of order when he talked about the man's dead mama. That's what I'm saying. You have to separate the lie from the jive because Willie D can be discounted for breaking code by doing that. That comment he made.
No doubt.
So
no doubt. I thought Willie D crossed the line too.
Right. Yeah. So then that puts him on the
wrong.
same. That makes him the same as Kanye. You say some real shit, but you'll say some bullshit every now and then. What's the difference between those two people? Except for one is going after Jews and right. I'm just saying, man, like it's not even Willie D. No disrespect to Willie D, but I mean, you played yourself when you said that. So whatever point,
he should have said that. We all know that.
How about this? By him going at the Jews, he basically banging on white supremacy.
Yeah, can you argue against that?
Right.
Terry Walker Jones said Jewish tactics, like others, has been bully and very much gang-like. Them separating themselves from him is not surprising to me, and if he were in his right mind, he would not be surprised or outraged. They believe if you're not for them, you're against them, which is what we say all the time. But I don't think he is really outraged because he just bought Parler. So he bought his own social media platform.
Right.
So
He
that's
don't
not
give a shit about them fucking with him. He know what's coming.
But that means he finna say some extra sucker shit though, because that ain't nothing but a racist ass site. If he wanted to boom, he gonna have to do like Candace Owens every day and start talking about us all day. He don't talk about nobody with us.
But when we walk. But when we talking about, when we talking about this subject right here with Kanye on, he ain't said no sucker shit. And when we talking about banging on the Jews and shit, or with everything he's talking about, he ain't saying no sucker shit about that.
That ain't sucker shit, but that's something that niggas do already.
Check it out, Ewok. But that's what we talk.
You let a Jew break up my crew.
Calm down, Ewok.
What he talking about?
So then, wait. By your logic, then that means
we talking about this here particular subject.
Talk about them all you like.
God damn it, man. We talking about this here particular subject, right? You ready?
I can't. You made me laugh. Go ahead.
We talking about this here particular subject.
Cam the one jumped in and fucked it up.
I'm done till he done.
No, I'm saying, no. Kev jumped in and fucked it up, man. Go ahead.
No, you fucked it up.
No,
Kev ain't said shit. You did. Every time I start talking, you start talking.
Come on, you can't argue with the callers.
He on the show.
He did say something.
Let's get back.
He on the show. Shit.
Bring it in. Let's go, Kamar. Go ahead.
Come on. Go ahead, man.
All I'm saying is this. When we talking about this subject right here, talking about how the Jews running the media and the music industry and all this type of shit with Kanye talking about, this is an issue that we all have, all us black people got. Look at Facebook, how Facebook be trying to monitor us and what we can't say and what we can't do. He talking about them Jews and shit. You know what I mean? The motherfuckers running this shit. So like, we talking about being on code. The show is called On Code. This is an issue that we all have. This is something that we should be all on code about. When he talk, we all know he say a bunch of bullshit. He throw a bunch of bullshit out there, but we talking about if we never mind all that bullshit, would he be on point right here? This is on code.
$250 million lawsuit the family of George Floyd are attempting to go at him for. You're right, Sire. You said the people are more scared than Ye. Right? It's like more black people scared. Right. Like I seen even 50 Cent saying, "Whoa." Right? Not that he's the ultimate, thug but he's usually one who's hard body karate with the white folks in the industry. But they're all like, whoa, Kanye. That's the thing that I admire about it. I do not appreciate the side shit, but I'm saying I don't know if it's whatever the legalities of this $250 million lawsuit is. Once again, I said what they try to do is put pressure, so you can really have a mental breakdown and you forget what the fuck you was arguing about in the first place. I don't want to leave this. I don't want to keep talking about Kanye because this goes on different levels. So I want to move away from Kanye because people are so reactionary about it right now.
True Social. So he about to buy True Social. Let me end with this. If he about to buy it, it's already a racist network. Now, if he want to pull a magic trick out of his fucking ass and shit, you know what I'm saying? Go on there and say everything. You gonna spend all this money to buy this damn social network? Guess who is the fucking president or the CEO of this damn network? It's fucking Candace Owens' husband. She run the whole shit. He getting bamboozled. So he gonna have to keep on talking this fucking coon shit, man.
Why is it a bamboozle though, Ewok? Why is it a racist network? Is it just because people can say whatever they want to say on there and everyone really has
no.
freedom
this
of speech?
Is an actual network that people go to be right.
I mean, I've been on there. I've been on Parler and True Social, and it's really just what they call right wing because they really believe in freedom of speech and they let everybody say what the fuck they want. So it doesn't make it racist. It means everybody can say what the fuck they want.
Right.
If I want to say fuck white folks,
you know what I'm saying? Being able to say what the fuck you want, that don't mean this shit is cool.
But it doesn't make it a racist site, though. It makes it
I understand the First Amendment. We all can say what the fuck we want, just like I'm doing right the fuck now.
And
but you know what? That don't make it cool.
And we don't want to get away from the narrative. I don't want to get away from the narrative because that's what arguments do. They take you away from the original ideology the discussion was based on, which is solidarity for foundational Black America. We can talk all day about how we won't be, having solidarity, how we at odds with each other. That's the problem. We're always at odds with each other. There's no come to Jesus moment. There's no moment where we all say, okay, hold on. Big picture here. I'm going to put all my personal shit aside, right? And put the support where it needs to be and not put it where it doesn't need to be. So, like you say, I'm liberal. You say I'm liberal about some shit and I'm conservative about some shit, right? I'm liberal when it comes to marijuana or prostitution. I'm conservative when it comes to laws that free sex offenders or place child molesters back in residential neighborhoods within close proximity of children. I'm conservative about that. Lock his ass up and throw away the key. That motherfucker only had some weed. Let him out. She ain't doing nothing but trying to get her money. Let her go. Leave her alone. See what I'm saying? So
it's kind of like voting for somebody that's pro-life.
When we keep focusing on Kanye, it's taking Mary away from it.
And it's going to cause her to die. She can't get that baby terminated and shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't be pro-life and then, you know what I'm saying, and allow a woman to die and shit when she actually needs this fucking procedure because she has a tubal pregnancy. You can't sit there and say it's a one-way road.
Ewok, that's cool, but that's not what we're talking about. This show is about.
Is a point. I'm trying to compare something to something.
Right, but you what you're doing is you kind of what they call regressing because
I'm trying to compare something to something.
I know, but this is not what that's about. We want to stay focused on Black unity and Black solidarity and us empowering ourselves. I don't want to even talk about.
That's why I made that comparison. That's why I made that comparison.
If it's really not about us being together and on code, we ain't gonna even talk about it tonight. We're gonna stop even entertaining. We're gonna entertain any kind of division because that's the problem. We too divided and we can't see the forest for the trees because every time somebody say up, somebody in the back say, no, that's down, motherfucker. I know down when I see it.
How is it divisive for me saying what I said? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna let the mother die if she had a tubal pregnancy, she gonna die. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to be on code with that because a lot of Black women have tubal pregnancies. We're going to sit here and be on code. We got to be on code all the way.
We ain't talking about code and pregnancy tonight. We just talking about the code. We
all right, Kev. You know what? It's your show. You're right. You
got to call on a different night when we talking about pregnancy.
But see, I wasn't talking about I was using that to make a point. But, you know, obviously you missed the fucking point. So, you know what I'm saying? Piron went over your head. But it's fine. This is Outlaw Radio, man. Go ahead. On to the next thing, man.
Right. So, anyways, I want people to understand because we've been making a point on this show for a very long time now that words mean something. We say that we've had narratives on the show that were consistent with us saying words mean something, regardless of how enlightened you are, how religious or aloof you are. It's wrong time, wrong situation. Somebody say something to you, you're gonna snap. It triggers you. And people say, no, words don't really mean nothing. It's just people saying their opinion and they're just talking. Now, this is my segment. Words mean something. We're watching a football game, and Chris Collinsworth, who's the NFL commentator, is watching the action in slow motion. So what he says about offensive lineman Landon Dickerson is, ooh, don't you want to just taste all 300 pounds of Landon Dickerson going down your throat? People went fucking crazy, right? He's doing a football game, and he's just talking.
I didn't hear that shit.
Right. It's in the People's News Network. It's in the People's News Network.
That one.
Words mean something, whether you agree with them or not. Whatever side you on is your side. But when you call out Jewish people, when you call out things that are part of the system that has kept us subjugated and oppressed for a very long time, I have to ride with you on that. All your side shit ain't got nothing to do with me because I'm not joining your cult. I'm not going to your church. I'm not wearing your robe. I ain't buying your ugly ass shoes. Well, I did buy them for my son.
You stupid. Right. That's my only thing, though, man. I agree with him, but, you know, it ain't nothing that ain't, you know what I'm saying? Well, most people know about it. That's what I was trying to say. Most people know about how they operate. You know what I'm saying? My point is he bring it up when him personally, the way he operates is, speaking back on Ye, the way he operates is he uses it when he gets upset, when he gets in his emotion. You
I don't want to talk about Kanye no more because what the
hell? I thought this was a talk show. What the fuck you gonna do?
Well, you gotta let me host the motherfucker first of all. So you
do that,
right? You didn't call in like you Ed McMahon or something. This motherfucker done sat down.
that goddamn next topic.
Shit, I'm on the couch.
He
I got a beer.
trying to take the motherfucking show over. I'm gonna mute your motherfucking
I ain't
mic.
doing that, man. I ain't doing that, man. I ain't even on that.
God damn. Relax, as Kamar said. God damn it.
God damn.
Hey, Kamari getting frustrated lately.
Yeah, got the phone up, man. Hang that goddamn phone up, man. Shit, he won't let me talk. God damn it.
Oh man, come on, man, K-Bull, you know I know you, man. Come on, man, stop
Right,
it.
Maybe I got your phone up too loud or something. Cause it's right. Like goddamn, calm down.
It's all gravy, man.
All right, man. So
meanwhile, back on the ranch.
yeah, we ain't talking about Kanye no more. So if that's all you have with Kanye, I'm about to hang up on you.
No, we can whatever. You the host, man. What you got next?
Right.
He said he on the goddamn line, Kev.
Right. Somebody else call so we can get this motherfucker out of here.
Anybody to the call, they like what I'm talking about. They listening real good right now. They ain't calling.
Okay, so let me get to my chat room. This boy got me all off my shit. Yeah, Candace Owens is a fucking idiot. I don't think she's for the people. But she's a person of color and she has the right to say what she wants to say. And if you subscribe to her political agenda, that's you, right? If she says something that makes sense tomorrow, I'm gonna be with it. I don't give a fuck if she's a Republican or a Democrat. Dion said, hey, he said he's late.
I remember she said if black folks want to go back to Africa, she'd pay for it. I remember that. Right. And I would like my motherfucking trip.
Shit, what else you gonna give us?
You know, that's
just gonna pay for it.
That want to go back, I would personally pay for it. Well,
I'm
nigga,
cool.
we need a boat. Where's that?
I'm cool.
Tiara, she said,
I was running on the west side of Chicago.
She said, Kev's flip phone is gonna accidentally click you off, right? You have to know how the flip phone work. Oops. Drop call.
She with you with that flip phone. She always gets you with the flip phone. She gets you with the flip phone every episode.
So now I'm looking at what this is something else we've talked about here a lot on Outlaw Radio is that there's a commotion here about.
I didn't do it.
There's a commotion here about what taxpayer money is used for, because we know that there's a lot of federally allocated money that's directed towards Milwaukee that's supposed to go to rebuilding the infrastructure of our community. People say, what's infrastructure? It's the quality of the streets, it's the bridges, it's vacant lots being cleaned up, it's buildings sites being developed, right? And so we did this a couple years ago, and I think Kamar at that time, what was it, $5 million that the city over 3 years, I think, had paid of taxpayer money for police lawsuits, and so that started. That started our relationship with Tierman Spencer when he became the first black city attorney. And now all of a sudden they're critical because there's an agenda against him, right? There's this invisible empire. And we, once again, to be on code is to understand that there's always an established agenda against us by the powers that be, no matter what you say. White people are going to never concede any sort of power or authority to us unless they absolutely have to, which would mean we would have to seize it. Right. So when we talk about police lawsuits, we got a DA who's never criminally charged a policeman here with anything. Think about all the police shootings, all the murders, all the things we've had going over the years. None of them have ever been charged, but millions of dollars have been paid out to their families. The taxpayers foot that bill. And they criticized Tierman Spencer for doing it, but this is what they were doing. His predecessor was doing for 30 years prior to him. This is a practice. That's flawed. See, that kind of understanding of what's going on downtown is something that should be part of our code too. Because we talk a lot of shit, but we don't really understand logistics a lot of times. What's flawed with the city of Milwaukee? They don't want niggas to have nothing. Are you able to articulate what's really going on here systematically? Do you understand the historical impact of redlining? Do you understand how we've been subjugated in this community and frozen out economically? Not just socially. We say socioeconomics, but economics is the most hard-hitting part of it. They admitted that they took some of the CDBG money, the Community Development Block Grant money, and used it for downtown projects, right? I don't know if you all know that that's where the gentrification of Milwaukee is coming from. It's coming from downtown. How the fuck do you have a major city that got more luxury apartments downtown than they got malls or theaters? That shit makes no sense. Who's living in these apartments down there? Not us. Now, do they want to live in apartments downtown forever? No, eventually they want to buy homes. and they want to invest in property. So what do? They come into the underserved community that surrounds downtown, and gentrification is in effect. It's not going to happen. It's already happening. Right now, you have aldermen who are selling off big parcels of properties to out-of-town investors because the city of Milwaukee doesn't want to be a landlord. So when they seize all these properties for taxes or what have you, they got to get rid of them. So if we don't have the money to go to the auction and buy them off and pay the tax bill that might be attached to it, it goes to a large investor. Those investment companies are not us. So if we say, okay, let's get to the point where us as people of color have organizations of people who have money that buy our own community. Why are we in that game? Because we don't have enough solidarity to do so. There's no excuse for us not having large black investment firms, large black engineering firms. No excuse for it at this day and time because we don't have the solidarity to do it, and we just ignore the problem like it's going to go away. The problem why we don't have shit is because we all try to do it on our own instead of being a community that supports each other and says, no, certain shit is bullshit, certain shit is real shit, right? You was drunk last night. You was talking shit up in the bar. I know. But this morning, you might have a real issue. I'm not going to turn my back on you in that regard. Micah Israel said flawed or fraud. Both of them. That's a good, flawed and fraud and flawed. Both of them, Micah. Deion James said they're going to tear Hillside down sooner or later. The transition of Hillside has already happened. It's gone from what the city does to control it to more of a part of the HUD housing structure, which is a federal program. HUD is government, right? That transition has already happened. And they are going to do something with Hillside. I worked in Hillside for a couple years. So they came and showed them the plans and said, we're going to redo this. What's y'all suggestions? People was like, we need our own pool. That's what some of the residents was saying. I was at the meeting. I was like, they worried about a fucking pool. They're about to raise this shit, man. What you tell? It's 5 minutes away from a $500 million stadium. That's not going to stand. Deion James said the city of Milwaukee is broke. Yeah, they might be, but the state got what, a $4.3 billion surplus? The state got money, right? And a lot of that revenue comes from, guess where? The largest tax base in this state is Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Milwaukee County, right? So, yeah, the rest of the state doing swimmingly. Deion James said, remember when they had the dollar houses? They said if you have a felony, you couldn't buy one. I didn't know that was part of it. I didn't know that if you had a felony, you couldn't buy the dollar. I do remember the dollar houses, but goddamn, they took so much money to fix. It's crazy. Let me see. Somebody's texting me saying they have solutions. Okay. We'll see. Call into the show. 262-202-5131. We talking about being on code, man. And this is what often happens. We start arguing about our differences and we lose sight of what the whole point of the conversation is. The point of this conversation is to let us know that the way out of this is unity. We've tried everything else. Think about this. We've tried everything else and it has not worked. We ain't really tried real true solidarity yet. We haven't separated. We haven't been able to separate what they put in our ears versus what we actually understand, because that media, that machine, that global media machine is owned by Jewish people, man. Especially in America. You got to admit it. Those money, the banks, the money processing centers, all that shit owned by rich Jewish people, and they pull strings like this all day long. You from Milwaukee, you tell me this. How do we have an entrenched Jewish community smack dab in the middle of the hood? And the world is falling apart around them. Murder, death, kill, whatever. They seem to be unscathed. Y'all never noticed this? That Jewish community that's right here on the north side. Mm-hmm. They live right in the middle of what's what, right? And so it's contentious in those areas. They seem to be unscathed. That would indicate extra protection of some sort of creative strategy to make sure they're safe, because the damn sure ain't just happening on its own. So what's going on there? Doesn't that demonstrate what he's talking about is legitimate? I don't know. Y'all let me know.
Hey, man, you think that could be a little of that post-traumatic slave syndrome too? Like, you know how you got brothers that go fuck up a bunch of nigga shit, rob niggas in the hood, rob niggas and don't go nowhere, do nothing to nobody else. I mean, it could be a little PTSD in there.
It could be. I mean, we suffer from the amalgamation of what's happened to us in this country and our experience is we know we're very traumatized by it. It's in almost everything we do, how we move you move in your community with a certain level of paranoia and unsureness because of your experience in this country, because you've seen it all go down right outside your house.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of those things that prevents us from really getting together, because at the end of the day, we say you just can't trust a motherfucker. Now, I know people say I don't trust nobody. I don't even trust my goddamn self, right? And as long as we really have that as our bottom line kind of mentality, it's gonna prevent solidarity from happening, because people gonna be like, well, he who's up front, who's getting the shine, why that motherfucker got a new car? Why he got some new shoes? Oh, this motherfucker got a big house. Okay, I'm out of it now. That there's that dissension, right? That contention that we say, well, man, what it don't got nothing to do. If he telling the truth, I don't care if he got a new car, which is what we should be saying. Mariah, shout out to Mariah Johnson. What's happening, family? She said I live right by him. Yeah, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody who lived on the north side know where the Jewish community is in Milwaukee.
Hey, Kev, I just told you I'm on 51st Street.
Right. They ain't moving to the suburbs. They ain't in no hurry to vacate. I'm gonna move to Tulsa. This is too goddamn bad over here. They be walking with their hats on, with their yarmulkes on, and their little braids on the side of their head. I'm like, damn, this motherfucker just walking down 48th Street. And he don't look.
Hey, listen. Hey, dig this. I moved over here, man. They brought me a gift basket from the Block Watch.
That's what I'm talking about.
We see you, nigga.
Right.
You know you over
Hey,
here.
listen, Kev, dig this too. Dig this. Let me tell you something else about what my neighbors did. Remember I told y'all my truck got hit? Well, it got hit about 3 o'clock in the morning when it got hit. And man, one of the neighbors followed the motherfuckers and actually got the license plate off the car. They hit my shit. Only problem was it was a stolen plate from Madison.
Damn.
But you know what I mean? Like, what I notice is they do put more emphasis on their neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
They actually got a community over there.
Watching
That's
what's
the
going
thing,
on
they got
around
youth.
here and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's something that we can learn from. We need to learn from. Just like when we go over the viaduct, the 16th Street viaduct, and we see how the Mexicans kicking it over there, or I can't just say Mexicans because it's all the Latinos over there, right? They support the shit out of each other. We need to learn that too.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's something we can get from everybody. A point I wanted to make earlier, man, and I don't mean to go back to the Kanye thing, but it was just real important about it, what I feel like. How he said he probably should talk to Farrakhan, or he should talk to the guy from the Israelites. You know what I mean? I feel like it should be leaders in the community, you know what I mean, on a national basis that should sit at a table like this. And you know what I mean? And really start putting this shit together and talk to this brother, man. I mean, I think he'll listen to something like that because now he got some people behind him, some serious people.
I wanted to go back to ask this question, because when I say it in terms of black people, when I say on code in regards to us, people be like, man, what is that? Man, what? We can't do that shit. Do you think Jewish people are on code with each other?
On code like a motherfucker.
Absolutely, they're on code. They have their own language. They got their own synagogues, their own school.
Hey,
they're absolutely on code.
Listen,
when I look at the Hmong community, they're on code. The Asian community is on code. The Latinos, like you said, they're on code.
Hey, my block ain't so Jewish, right? Now, I told you I went to the Block Watch meeting last week or last month. And man, let me tell you, the Jews and the people on my block is banging heads because some people on my block that want solar panels on their house and shit. And the Jews like, we ain't having that in this neighborhood.
Right. But it's their neighborhood, so they call the shots on it. Because you know what they'll do? They'll go complain to their local alderman, and they'll tell their alderman when they get elected, motherfucker, this is what we got going. This is what you need to keep popping, or your ass will be up out of here. When they go to the police station and say, God damn it, they're breaking in our garages. And if you guys don't do something about it, because they got a lot of lawyers and all this kind of shit, there's money flowing there, right? And they spend with each other. They eat their traditional foods. I don't really. So you tell me this. Y'all tell me this. When the last time you pulled up to a drive-through restaurant, you seen some Jewish people sitting at Burger King? Sitting in the lot.
They gotta be kosher. They
right.
Get
they don't
kosher.
We got our own shit. We don't even.
Right.
They're on code. So when I say it for foundational Black Americans, we start saying, well, how? What? We can't. What? The same way they do it, we can do it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's some initiatives that have to take place. Nothing is instant. Nothing is just add water, and neither is revolution or liberation or emancipation. That shit take time, it takes effort, it takes structure, but it takes people to be unified. So that means we have to really form the minority amongst the minority and align ourselves based on what abilities we have to affect change in the community. You got a strong legal branch over here. Come on over here. I got a strong medical branch over here. Come on over here. I got a strong educational branch over here. Together, you have a machine, right? What we keep saying, peninsula maybe, but I'm no island, right? I'm still hooked to my people, but I'm gonna do what I need to do. I just can't understand how they've gotten us programmed to think that. And I'm guilty of this because my first reaction to Kanye was this motherfucker's crazy, which he is, and I still believe that. And I still believe I still believe the money has blown his mind, and I think he got some issues. But I keep saying on this issue with these Jewish people, he's 100% correct. The DEFCON 5 shit, you doing too much. You're trying to make something out of nothing. We know damn well he was just talking, right? But I'm saying, and words do mean something. The intention was there too. I'm really about to go against y'all, but not in a physical manner. And they know that because I'm sure they got enough of his shit bugged and tapped to know if he was moving in that regard. They would have been when got him. So you take that shit away from it. And what did he say? He even said, listen, of course y'all turned on the TV and they got me labeled. Look who owns the shit. That's a misnomer. Ewok said we knew that. That's true. But that's no reason to stop talking about it. And that's no reason for us to put it on blast and say, okay, it's time now for this shit to be broken up a little bit. We need to demand our slice of this, right? We need to step in like they did, because at one point they was gangsters. They was street thugs. They was involved with organized crime.
They still
down with the mob, right? Well, I'm saying as their initial, that's what they, where their wealth was coming from.
So now, they just put it on the it's the underworld now. But
yeah, because I sent my kids to law school, and he sent his kids to med school, and now we generations we can move on from that. It's the ends to a means.
So they still Myers, Linsky, and that motherfucker.
Myers, Linsky, right? That's some old TV shit. Let's go, man. 262-202-5131. Y'all let me know. I might be barking up the wrong tree. Like they say, sometimes I'm a dreamer. I just feel like, and when I say unity and solidarity, I'm not under the impression that we're all going to hold hands and get along. It's okay for you to have a different, like you say, I'm a Christian, and you say, okay, I'm a Muslim. Okay, what's our problem here if we both trying to get free? If we both trying to get our people, if we both trying to be empowered, because it ain't about what you eat or what I eat. It ain't about what you read and what I read. It's about the bottom line of what affects us both. So when we talking about disproportionate conviction rates in court, learning achievement gaps in public school, income disparity, right? Lack of mental health services, underserved communities that have existed for 50 and 60 years in the same underserved state. That affects both of us. It don't matter if I'm a Muslim or a Christian. Let's agree to work on that instead of saying, well, Allah would have whooped Jesus in the verses. Like, who cares about that? Like, I'm not really worried about that. You feel me? No, because God gonna DJ for Jesus and Muhammad gonna DJ for Allah. Like, nobody's even making those comparisons.
Peace be upon him.
Right. Kerry Walker Jones said, yeah. Drede, shout out to Drede. He said Jews and Mexicans own their own homes, so they have vested interests. We need to conquer home ownership. That is a step towards helping our community. I'm with you, Drede.
It most definitely is. It most definitely is, but the way they're able to do it, the Jews, the Mexicans, the Asians, is because they're able to occupy one home and stack their bread, and then each family that's within that household eventually get their own house while they could pay for it and shit. But unfortunately with us, there's a lot of traumas that have to be healed and shit like that. Like, before we can even value our brother or value his opinion enough to say, hey, nigga, think what you think. I respect that, but let's do this shit here. Like, we can't even get to that until we learn to heal ourselves and value ourselves enough to stop looking at each other through the lens of white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? But that starts with again self-love, self-value before, because of course, like I've known growing up, if you had two chicks living together and then they niggas eventually start coming to the house, eventually somebody's fucking somebody man. You know what I'm saying? So we can't even cohabitate with two fucking couples in the household because of all the trauma and self-worthlessness that we always gotta reach out for external means of coping with. So they're there because they ain't facing all that trauma and shit.
Well, I can't, Jews lean on the Holocaust, so that, and technically, historically, they've gone through some traumas as well. Now, I understand what Michael Israel. Shout out to Michael Israel, because my dad, who's a Baptist preacher, always told me that he felt like black people were a lost tribe of Jews, and his biblical thing was that they said that they would be the most persecuted group of people on the planet, and that was one of the lost tribes. And I think the Muslims even call them the lost tribe of Shabazz. So we know that there's something there with that, and that may be why they say we got to make sure that they stay at the bottom, because we don't ever really want our affiliation with them to be discovered, that they are also a tribe of us, because that would mean you got to share the pie. Shout out to Rock.
Or we may be that tribe and they are not nothing.
That right. We done stole this shit the whole time, right?
You know what I'm saying? So no, we can't let y'all motherfuckers get out here and start stealing this shit.
Right, we can't even let y'all discuss it or think about it, because y'all might put two and two together and realize who the fuck we really is.
As soon as you question me, I'm shutting your shit down. We ain't having that now. We ain't having that. Shout out to Rock, man. JC Terry, he said a genius always look crazy until normal people catch up to a genius's old thoughts. Very true. Sometimes genius, you go to your grave with it, and people don't really recognize it until they say, damn, that motherfucker was on to something. Too bad he dead. What didn't he write some
like I did Kevin Samuels?
Okay.
I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
He said the problem with our community is that our leaders don't lead, and those who are supposed to accept positions don't want to follow. Mariah says, speak. Shout out to Mariah Johnson, my family. What's up, family? Yes. She said, listen, we don't want to live with our own. Speak, Relly. She talking about you, Rel. She said that's my uncle. She talking about my daddy. Yes, sir. I'm telling you, the man was a wealth of knowledge. And he, like I said, he was of the cloth, but he was very real about this ain't got nothing to do
other cultures did have their traumas, but they got like those people, or the Jews, whatever you would call, they at least got acknowledgement of the bullshit they were put through. They even got compensation for the bullshit they was put through. Asians, when they got out them endearment camps, they got acknowledgement of what the fuck they was put through. And so, I mean, and I'm not taking nothing away from their trauma. You know, money don't make up for time of anguish, but we've never gotten that help to heal. And again, that's what it comes down to, because we got so much hatred and shit for motherfuckers that look like us. Instead of talking about a solution, motherfuckers real life just spent 30 to 45 minutes talking about why they don't like a motherfucker.
That's true. That's true.
He wasn't talking about shit, but why he don't like Kanye. But that's because that's that projection shit that we need to heal. We can't even, he say some bullshit sometime, man, but let's get back to building this road right here. No, because another thing, why that motherfucker want us to jump on when he, like that shit was just shit that he banging on. Like you heard, I ain't say shit. I don't waste my breath. I was just cracking up the whole time. I'm not about to jump in that emotional ass bullshit.
Yeah.
You know.
I understand. I this is what I do. So we gonna talk about the shit. Like people, why we even talk? That's because that's what the fuck I do. And I say I got time for the bullshit. And I understood the point he was trying to make, but I think
most definitely. But it goes
of course, there's a million reasons to disagree with the man, but where it counts is where it counts, and that's what I mean by the code. Letting go of the bullshit,
exactly.
Talk about the real shit.
I mean, even with the Jews, they got even with the Jews, they got what the Mizrahi Jews, the Sephardic Jews. They got a whole bust down the shit within their community, but the average nigga don't know that shit because they not sitting here talking about how they don't get down with the Mizrahi Jews or the Sephardic Jews because they from Spain and they a little darker and swarthy and shit. Like, we don't know that shit. I mean, most of us don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The power of research and the power of saying, let me really look at this through some neutral eyes. Micah Israel agreed with you, Kumar. He said, we are that tribe and they are not. And that's the reason why they at us. Deion James said, those are not the original Jews. Think about it. Israel is in the Middle East, and most people who live in that Middle East have some pigmentation in their skin. They don't. One thing we got to remember is that
you would have to have pigmentation in your skin to be there. You would have to.
Exactly, or you'd be burnt the fuck up. But also you got to remember that the original, what they call the Middle East, was originally a part of Africa. So it's what they did when they divvied up this mess.
Just like the same media who Kanye banging on got motherfuckers thinking Egypt ain't in Africa.
I want to say two things to us. This is on code. It's something for the people. This is for us to digest. The first thing I want to say is, how can you ever right now believe or trust anything that you're told by this country when you can go back and research that everything they ever told you about you was a lie?
Yes,
exactly.
They've misquoted your history. They've misplaced your. They purposely diluted your understanding of where you come from. Yeah. So why would now all of a sudden you say, "Don't say that, don't do that," whatever the fuck you want to say, right? Now, if you agree with it, watch it. If you don't, change the channel. But when you start seeing them taking his right to express himself, I'm gonna take away the social media. I'm gonna take you out the bank. And that goes for any brother who's ever. This is all Marcus Garvey all over again. And we sat on the sidelines when they did it to Marcus Garvey and didn't say shit. And that's why he ended up the way he ended up. And he was posthumously pardoned by Trump, because they admit to trumped up charges in the kangaroo court. So as a person of color right now, you should be ready to say, it is time for us to start thinking different. We got to reject all this shit. Tupac say, you live in fantasies, nigga. I reject your deposit, right? And the second thing I want to ask of all people, including myself, is what are you willing to do for us as a people? It's a question you don't have to answer here tonight, because I'm not looking for somebody because it really takes a lot of time to think about. But in order for us to get this,
I know shit.
But you gotta, I would want somebody to take their time and think about it, because it's so many nuances involved, and there's so many variables involved in what can I do, and it ain't specific. So a motherfucker gonna say stop wearing this and stop eating that. It's not that. It ain't that. I'm saying looking deep within yourself, saying, if I really want to be a part of this and I really want to see us progress, what do I have to do? What am I willing to do? Right? I don't want to carry signs at the march. I don't want to, wear African beads or sandals and say this is how original people dress. No knock on anybody who does that. I don't want to do that part. What can I do? Right? What can I impart in my family, in my community? What am I willing to do? And what am I willing to risk? I would say, if people say right now, if you could be free and whatever, however you define freedom, what would you give up to get it? Would you run off and leave your woman? Would you run off and leave your home? Would you give up your job? Would you give up your car? Turn your bank account over? What are you willing to do right now? That's the question I would ask. We got a caller.
Yes.
Caller, you live on Outlaw Radio. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Kerry Walker Jones.
How you doing? How you doing, my sister? How you doing?
Kerry Walker.
I'm doing okay.
What's on your mind tonight? We got a hot one going. I'm sorry, there's a lot of hollering and yelling and profanity, but this is, it's the juke joint. What's on your mind?
That's okay. That's fine. I was just saying that our community is having a hard time coming together. The Jewish community, the Mexican community, Hispanic community, other communities are rooted in old beliefs, old times, old laws, rules, all of that has been evolved, but it has been kept in place. Ours were stripped away from us.
Right.
So, and it was done systematically so that, we would be as confused and as divided as we are. So in order to get back to that, when I was saying that our leaders aren't leading,
we don't have a solid structure, a solid foundation at the top.
Okay.
Anytime we try to come together, we have a conglomerate of people that everybody knows everything. Nobody wants to agree with anything. You know, everybody on the different pages and don't want to be on the same page because your page is not where they want to be. So, I mean, the only way, it's almost dismal. Like, it's like, are we ever going to be able to accomplish unity? Because, like I said, the foundations that the other groups are built on was systematically stripped away from us. When I say leaders, you have to learn how to follow in order to lead. That don't mean we should establish a group of people that we call leaders. And, we got to do everything they say. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we all have to have some kind of structure at the top coming down, and then it circulates.
Right. I agree. I agree. I totally agree. And that's that intentional solidarity that I'm talking about, in which we making a concerted effort. See, right now we allow our leaders to get away with not even making a concerted effort. There's no way we can have a black mayor and all these black elected officials who have not come out in solidarity at the same press conference and said, look, together we are going to maximize our resources and improve the quality of life of people of color in this city. How in the, excuse my French, how in the fuck has that not happened yet? And I wouldn't have cussed if I didn't really mean it. If you got all 7, 8 new black men who are in power, how have they not come on Fox 6, come on 58 and say, look, it's a new day because we are about to make this thing happen. And it ain't just about people of color, but we're going to make sure that they get theirs too. We're going to make this whole region thrive. And we're gonna do it by having solidarity amongst us, not just as black men, but as men, period. Right? So that the fact that we've allowed them to get away with that, because we want him to come and say, oh, the leader of OVP is fired. Oh, the motherfucker over here is fired. Oh, you can't work for me. Or I'm gonna give you this grant money. I'm gonna give you that grant money. What are you doing? You and shout out to DC Crowley, who's been on the show, is a friend of the show. The county supervisor and the mayor should have sat down from the start. And I don't know if they did or they didn't, but it makes sense for them to say, let's blur this power struggle line between Milwaukee County and the city of Milwaukee. They watered down our government in Madison through that divisiveness. So it would take the county executive and the mayor to say, you know what, we gonna come correct. My mama used to call it, when I come, I'm coming all ass. Right? She said, when I come all head, no ass. I'm coming like a cabbage. I'm coming all head, no ass. So that means we're gonna put all our big guns on the front row. Like I said, a legal division, a health division, an educational division, a financial division, and say, this is our structure we about to put into place. Ride with us or collide with us. Because we should tell Madison anyways. I heard Mayor Johnson say, one of the first things I want to do is repair the relationship Milwaukee and Madison have. Madison should be trying to repair the relationship, because Skippy Walker took how much money right out of Barrett's soft ass, passive ass hands to deal with the housing crisis, and he came on the news and laughed about it. Like, yeah, we see most of that shit. Y'all ain't getting it back. Barrett was like, oh, come on, Scott. Come on, Skippy. Come on. Right? So Madison owe us a fucking apology. We go into things from a, oh, Lord, I was going to try perspective into, man, fuck this. We finna make this shit happen. In order to get on code, we have to have political participation. I know people don't like voting. I know people say, can't vote, ain't gonna change shit. On a local level, votes absolutely matter. You're foolish if you don't believe so. Now, they can skew the presidential election all they want through the usage of an electoral college and all that type shit. But me going to the poll to vote this person into city hall on the common council is absolute. Boom, I voted for him. We all voted for him. We get him in. If he or she does not do what they're supposed to be doing, they will be removed. They will be ostracized. They will be exposed, and we will remove them. You got to go. One term is your name. And you know we can do recalls in the middle of your shit. A lot of people don't know you can do a recall on an elected official. Your ass going home 2 years early, right? So this is the power, this solidarity, the potential of solidarity. But we got to look at Latinos. We got to look at Asians. They ain't even listen. I live in a community. This is the most diverse neighborhood I've ever lived in my life. There's Africans, Native Africans. There's foundational Black Americans, such as myself. There's white people. There's Hmongs. There's Latinos. The Hmongs have so much solidarity. Not only do they have a very large school that they purchased from MPS, and MPS won't sell nobody else no goddamn building, but they got one and redone the whole thing. The old Morris on 84th and Hampton. They have a party. They get porta potties put on the grass. It's at least 30 of them. They out there drinking Bud Light and doing everything. I ain't heard no loud music. I ain't seen one fight. They came, drank their beers, pissed in the porta potties, and went home.
Yep, soccer games.
Because
they always have something. Everything they do is community. And like you said, they never have a problem when they do it. But, also the divide has been given to us in our own households, and we don't realize that. People are so ready to throw their children away for anything. That's where you have to start. That's where you start teaching a person that you have my support. And people are so quick to throw their kids away for whatever's going on in their life.
I think that we always believe white ice is colder. So what am I going to do with my little poor Black kids? I'm going to send them to the suburbs because that's where the good school's at. So they get them out there and call them all kinds of niggers and monkeys and spades. And then we want to go out there and walk around in front of the school. Fair treatment. Nah, what the fuck you think I'm going to get? What's that that Wisconsin town? Can't nobody say Ashwaubenon. Ashwaubenon. You ain't getting no justice in Ashwaubenon. You gonna bring your Black ass back down here, but we won't empower the schools in our local community. Listen, North Division is a gem. It's a gem. It's one of the most beautiful buildings in the system, but it's right smack dab in 53206, and that's who attend that school, right? And so, go ahead, sis.
Even dealing with our own kids, like he said, we can't even live together as couples. But even dealing with our own households, our own children, I see so many people ready, willing, and able to just push their kids out into the street because they're not listening. Their thought process is not the same. Instead of trying to understand and covet their kids, you're not teaching unity. You're teaching that I'm for myself and you need to be for yourself while you're out. And a lot of our problem is our family structure. And that's where it all starts at. How we treat our children is how they're going to go out there and treat others.
You know what? And when we talked about Inside Out, we did a show on mental health, and we talked about the percentage of Black therapists and psychologists. It was something like 3% that were Black. So once again, that mental health portion of what I'm saying in terms of solidarity means we go into these families and we go into these homes and we deal with the trauma that's in the community. We establish specialized communities, specialized services for our communities that serve our public schools directly. It's a demand. I want therapists in these schools. Well, we ain't gonna wait till somebody get murdered. We're gonna be there to identify the signs of trouble before they happen. That way we can be proactive as opposed to reactive. You only want to I work for Wraparound Milwaukee. We only gonna give them therapists after they're a teenage felon. You adjudicated in the courts as a teenage felon. Now you want to give them, Kevin, go give him a family therapist. Go get him a individual therapist. Well, until he get off probation and he turns 17 and he's old enough to pass along to the adult system, right? So we need to focus on, see, that's what I'm saying. It's all these different aspects of what's ailing the community. And we get so focused on one that we discount the impact of the others. So if I'm all about food in the community, and no knock to anybody that's on food, that's all they want to talk about. That's all they can talk about. They can't sit with a person that's talking about we need property and connect the fact that, hey, if we bought property and land, we could have community gardens. And then I can empower you to run my garden for me. And we can have markets in which we generate revenue to donate right back to the community. Instead, that I don't even want to talk about it. You eat meat. I seen you with a Whopper last week. I don't want to sound like it ain't that bad. It's divisive. It's a city of silos. My chat room is on fire. Vince Tony, shout out to Vince Tony, man. That's the homie. He said because they bought and paid for Crowley $712,000 and Johnson $315,000 from Massa Abley. Call them what they are. Vince, you just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, that's true. When I interviewed Dave, I was talking about running for president, and he was like, you need access to $1 million. He was like, I'm still in debt right now for my campaign. So yeah.
I don't know how he's in debt when Abley gave him $712,000. How much did he owe? Goddamn, who's he borrowing from, the mob?
But I'm saying, how much do you think he's made, or how much do you think he had paid back by the end? That was what, last year? Do you think he had? How much did he get paid? Do you think he'd have paid that back?
That's his campaign money too. But I'm telling you this, it's all a game that's being played on our backs, right? And Vince, you're right. When I asked, that's the answer to my question as to why there are no coalition of these black leaders that are newly affected standing strong. That's why. That money that's on the screen right there.
Yeah.
That money gonna tell you who the fuck you gonna stand in the press conference with, right? So you said, I was thinking I don't think that'd be a good idea, Dave. Because so-and-so's on the other side, and in Madison we have a mutual friend and they don't agree. Okay, I won't stand with them then. Right. And once again, shout out to DC Crowley. I had to give you the dun voice. Because when I hear you talking about, hey, let's create affordable housing in Wauwatosa and Kenosha and send black people out there. I'm like, brother, do you understand gentrification at all? You are building you might as well build a highway, a railway, extend the train out there and say, all you niggas get on this train and going out there and pay $5 a month to live in Wauwatosa. You finna go out there and get treated like a redhead stepchild, man. Stop playing with me. Joe Walker said voting is the biggest scam in history. Once again, I think on a local level, to me, it's not. And I understand why Joe Walker would say that, because we know it's like anything else in this country, it's corrupt to a certain degree. It could not be corrupt, right? Shit. If you talking about machines and somebody got to own and program and calibrate the machines, pay enough money, they get calibrated and operated in a certain way. But I don't think local politics is a scam. Y'all tell me what y'all think, because I champion voting. And I remember Kamar was on here a couple years ago. He had a come to Jesus moment where he said, I actually went and voted today, first time in my life. And it was that we celebrated that on the show. But I don't know, he done voted since. But
well, I was always one to feel like it's some bullshit. You know what I mean? But I was always looking at the presidential aspect of it, and I came on the show and we started talking about it more, and I'm listening, and like I say, everybody's got something to teach me, you know what I'm saying? So it made me feel like I need to get out here and go vote. And not only that, man, we talking about being on code, right?
Okay.
On code. This is what my people want to do. This is what my people want. Okay, well, I'm going to ride with us on that, because everybody mean well. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to ride with it. We on code with that. If we mean it's something, I'm saying it's something that's for the best, and I'm with it. You know what I mean? The best of us, for us, I'm saying. I'm with that.
Right. And I feel like sometimes we can't. I just talked about separating the lie from the jive. Right. If you come to me and you say, well, you don't want to follow that Marcus Garvey guy, he's collecting money for a steamship and it's a fraud. He's spending that money on himself. You see how this guy dresses? He's a weirdo. Look, he's dressed like Captain Crunch. Don't send your money to him. Don't buy his You really want to sell in a boat back to Africa? And black people are like, you know what? He do dress kind of extravagant. I ain't sending no money. Right. But we know now that there was an established government agenda, right? That made sure black intellectuals never connected with Marcus Garvey. That was the point of W.E.B. Du Bois and the NAACP, right? This is all you can go read. I ain't making this shit up. So you can't be on here with the aluminum foil hat. No, this shit's all in the books. You got to go find this information. Don't watch the movie, because we know movies be on some bullshit, right? Woman King. All the black or Latino leaders are indoctrinated until the yokes are removed from their necks. They're no different than Massa. Yeah, in order to play that game, man, they say you got to bend over, right? They say you got to bend over. Vince said last general election 2020, 115 poll sites disappeared, which left only 5 sites on Democrats' watch. Do y'all remember when COVID first hit and we were having an election and they came out and said Sherman Park is the central, that's ground zero for COVID. And then they said all the polls closed except for Washington High School.
Yes, I remember, and had all them people.
Yep, I remember that shit.
and it was raining, and people was outside lined up like, oh, I hope I don't get that shit. I'm like, wait, hold
During
on.
cold and flu season.
And they had recorded footage of the motherfuckers throwing ballots away.
Yes, Nate. Yes,
So
Nate.
a lot of the people that did go stand in line, a lot of their votes probably didn't even get counted.
Oh my goodness.
But what I didn't understand was Sherman Park was the central, the hub of COVID, but the first doses were sent to St. Luke. We have a hospital right there.
Right.
It's asinine to say this is the ground zero and then say, well, black people, this is where y'all got to go vote at. Like that almost ensures, because I'm gonna tell you, like me, I took that election off. Like I'm cool. I'm not going over there. I discovered the power of the mail-in ballot. Right? We was like, oh shit, look, we're gonna have to sit this one out, baby. Shit, I hope they elect somebody good. I mean, it's the things that they do. Now that was what's my man name who used to come on the show all the time, Kamar, he was on their heels with the oh man, what's the white guy? Nick McVeigh. He had a whole thing launched and footage of them throwing away ballots, and their simple excuse was, "Oh, them was flawed, so we threw them away." But your rules say that should not be allowed at all. Straight brush that under the cover. Same thing with Mayor Barrett having COVID and then showing up at Midtown and saying, "Oh," and having the shit closed down. Oh yeah, I forgot I went there too. Can't go there and vote. This shit is all a game, man. And somebody perpetuates it. So if you think, this is coincidence, then you're a little bit naive, right? You got to understand. So when you see one of us exercising some bravery and standing up against a system, we should all support it and be on code. Similar to why Colin Kaepernick's effect wasn't really had or felt, because years later, what happens? Rihanna, who at first was, I'm not going to do the Super Bowl. Now she in that motherfucker. Jay-Z got a job. Snoop and Dre got an Emmy for doing the Super Bowl. That automatically discounts what the fuck Colin Kaepernick was even talking about in the first place. How many players really stood with him and took a stand? The ones that did, they got rid of them, right? And so we see that what happens when we don't stand on code with each other. When we don't stand up and say, we're going to protect this, man. We're going to make sure that this is held near and dear. We've made this mistake with so many leaders. We made it with Fred Hampton. We made it with Martin Luther King. We made it with Malcolm X to a certain degree, even though what happened to him was a bunch of different forces moving together. But it's happened so many times where we had a leader in our community that could have started the construction of some leadership or some leadership structure in the community, and they took him out. Right. Whether it be through, I mean, I can't say Marion Barry because he was smoking hard, but he was even set up. He was even like, he said the bitch set me up, right?
That's the one that's in that hotel room. I don't know who he was, but I seen the video.
That's Marion Barry, man. Who make sure we tell this part, who was reelected 2 times after that.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, DC. That's mayor of DC, right? Marion Barry, he recovered from it, right? But it was bad at first. Like, god damn it, he was getting right. I hit this motherfucker, baby. He had him a hooker and some crack. He had the combo.
He was for the party. That's what I'm talking about.
I was saying that comedian Red Grant, I think, is now running for DC.
Okay. DC's a different place now, though. I don't know if it's still Chocolate City like it once was.
You remember that cat, Red Grant? I can't.
I've been laughing at that dude for years. He's very funny looking too, but yeah, like the dude with the big ass cap in his teeth. Yeah, I remember him. Dre said sound like Umar. I hope I don't sound like Umar. I hope I don't. And I don't really have nothing against Umar, but I disagree with some of his stuff. But I'm on code with him where when he's saying something that matters, I'm with him, right? And when he be on some bullshit, I'd be like, well, that come with it, right? Like. I mean, it's like, like we say, you got a guy.
Right there, because you ain't gonna, like I said, you never agree with everything that somebody say, man.
Y'all leave him alone, man. Leave him alone. Come get your drunk ass uncle, man. Let's go get Unc, man. He's down there. We're gonna go throw his ass in the car. Say that again.
What's really going on with Herschel Walker and that whole Republican thing?
Now we talking about Kool-Aid.
I said, what's going on with Herschel Walker and the Republicans?
I hear you, and I'm saying somebody referenced, I think it was Ewok talking about drinking the Kool-Aid. Herschel Walker has overdosed on the Kool-Aid.
But they drinking the Kool-Aid that he's serving, whatever they with it. They don't give a damn.
Who though? Like now, okay, so if we're gonna say on code, here's a black man. So, but I don't see anything that he's offering because really his agenda is anti-black, it's anti-us.
Yeah.
He's a convert, he's an indoctrinated Negro. He's a puppet. He got a white man's hand up his ass so deep that he can bite his nails if he closes his mouth too tight. Right? So we see Mac Negroes like that all the time. That's what people were accusing the mayor of being. It's very coincidental that up to the night he won that election, there was so many black, that nigga ain't nothing but a coon. That mayor, that beard lapdog. And as soon as he got elected, oh, Mayor Johnson is an honorable man. He actually pretty good people. Yeah, like damn, man, to the victor go the spoils, right? So, I'm not saying he is or he isn't. I know some of his early decisions. I was kind of like, really? That's your response to what happens at the fire serve is to create a curfew downtown? Fuck the rest of the city where hundreds of people get murdered in the last 3 years. Man, we ain't worried about that. Let's protect these good white people downtown who living in them. I was telling y'all about these gentrifiers or pilgrims. We should call them pilgrims, right? Because they done discovered a new land, right? Like fuck all these niggas here. Look what I discovered. I discovered a new neighborhood. Yeah, that's what we should call them and shit. I'm on my Charleston White. Yeah.
Downtown, and I'm like, you motherfucking pilgrims and shit just came in and
white people will butt. Did she just call us pilgrims? Excuse me.
Motherfucking right, little pilgrim lady.
Go down there and we should have a picnic in the park for Thanksgiving. Go down there with some Native Americans, some indigenous people from America. I won't call them Indians. We'll call them original. Well, they are original inhabitants of the land. We are the true Americans. Black people are the true Americans. Nobody else is more American than the modern day foundational Black American. Nobody else. We built this shit. This shit's ours. They fucked our whole heritage. They fucked our whole understanding up of who we were. We sacrificed that for this country. You know, we lost our culture. We just so cool. We so saucy. We reinvented all of our own kind of cultural norms with art, music, and stuff like that. But they tried to strip us of it, and we sacrificed it and still built the country for them. So once again, I don't get why we're so down on ourselves when we've persevered more than anybody else. Like, it's like we're not aware of our own potential, right? Like, and so we just, it's like, fuck you. No, fuck you. Well, we live in the same fucked up neighborhood. We scrapping over the same goddamn scraps. Why am I mad at you? Instead of us getting together to say we should be able to get, you can get more.
Right.
If you get together, right? Like
it's that indoctrination, man. I was just watching a video the other day, and it was showing like them old clips from back in the day where school-age kids would get a picture of different kids of different shades, and they'll say, point to the dumb kid, and they'll point to the black kid, and they ask, now, why is this the dumb kid? Because they're black. Now, this was white kids that was doing this, but also black kids that was doing it. Point to the bad kid. They point to the dark. So it shows you that, I mean, the indoctrination shit is real, man. I mean, even just watching my kids, they watch Disney Channel. So it had got to a point where one of my daughters, she 8 now, but this was like when she was like 4 or shit. She wanted a blonde wig so she could be like the Frozen girl. Like she was talking about she didn't like her. She didn't want her hair. If her hair was stupid hair, she wanted the hair that laid down. So, you know, even me being the nigga I am, it infiltrate my house to where I had to sit down with my kids like, baby, nah, all hair is beautiful hair and your hair is just as beautiful in its natural state. You know, I had to, you know, we watched the Good Hair, that documentary by Chris Rock and shit.
Rock, yeah.
But, you know, because I like to educate my children and my family just so that they could understand even where some of their subconscious ideologies come from. You know, me and my lady used to get into it a lot back when she used to wear wigs and shit because, you know, she was just like a lot of these typical women out here who damn near use a wig as a security blanket. They can't walk out the house without putting somebody else's hair on their head. So, you know, we used to kind of not get into it, but just had discussions like, you know, I want my children to see you walk out this house with your hair. And not only with your hair, with you feeling proud and confident with your motherfucking hair. You know, so it took educating and shit, but now I see that by their mama getting to that point, now my kids are getting to that point. But for a time, you know, whether it was Disney or YouTube or whatever, that indoctrination is real, man, where we automatically assume the black kid is the dumb kid or the bad kid.
Well,
And
we've allowed that to
stays
exist.
with us until adulthood.
And it's Joe Walker said the scandemic new world order. I hear people talk about that, but people want to separate race from it. But I have to focus on the racial aspect of it because I'm a foundational Black American, and I grew up during a very crazy time because the very cartoons that they showed us growing up, Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry, they were full of racist messages because they had existed in a time before we were alive, and so, and this is where we talk about foundation, right? With parents, this is why we have to get on code so there can be a uniform methodology to how we're raising children. Because what my mother did is similar to what Rail is talking about. When I was watching Tom and Jerry, and the mammy, the maid, was there, and they never showed her face, but she obviously was a overweight woman, right? My mother would point that out. Look at this bullshit, and I'm looking at her like, well, I'm 8. I don't give a fuck. It ain't never too early for your ass to learn. That's some bullshit, right? And so I think my wife and I ruined some pivotal childhood moments for our kids because we were willing to during those cartoons say, pause this shit. Hold on. First of all, you got to understand what's going on here. And like my kids would have been the opposite if you showed them pictures and said, who's the dummy? My kids would have pointed at the white kid and said, him. He dumb. My daddy and my mama was laughing at some white man on TV the other day. He looked just like him. And it was Trump or whoever, right? And so that's something we need to impart in our kids too from a very early age, is how to disseminate the messages, right? Because they bombard us with these messages of tolerance. Yes, let them be what they want to be. I'm non-binary. I'm not a girl. I'm not a man. But look, you one or the other, motherfucker. Regardless of what you say, how do you use the bathroom? They say, what's in your wallet, right? Like, how do you use the bathroom? You're not a man or a woman. You got both? I don't want no answer for that. Mariah,
well, they're trying to make it to where a kid, they're trying to make it to where a parent don't even got to say so in what their child chooses to identify as. So that's one of the pushes they making now.
Mariah, you making me reminisce. My cousin said, ain't not it was and is the truth. My mother was an individual, right? And especially when it came to race, because she grew up picking cotton in the Jim Crow South, and she was very, very upfront. That's what I'm saying. Like, Santa Claus only lasted for a few years for me. That explanation came down early. That's some bullshit. And we did it to our kids. And I remember my daughter went to school and said it at like 6, and we got a phone call from the teacher. Like, well, you know, Taylor's telling the other kids it ain't no Santa Claus. We like, well, it ain't. That's what we're at home. Yeah. As hard as I had to work to buy all this shit that you will never play with again.
I'm Santa Claus. That's what I tell my shit. I'm Santa Claus. Shit.
Right.
Now go to sleep at 8 p.m. because I'm not about to stay up all night waiting for y'all to go to sleep so I can put these damn toys under the tree.
So getting on code in that regard, in terms of our understanding, let's know that there's an attack on the truth. Let's know that critical race theory, part of it, is the erasing of the truth in the schools.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Our own goddamn family members be a part of that, because you know what I'm saying? How we're not on code. Like, we all say that there is no Santa Claus. I am Santa Claus. My mama worked so goddamn hard to make them believe in Santa Claus. They be calling fake Santa Claus and all types of shit. She worked so hard to make them believe, hey, you guys know Santa's coming in 10 days. Like, nigga, Santa's not real. But nigga, he just said, like, fam, why do you keep doing this? So sometimes the whole trying to get on code, it be your own people, as they say. They're like, man, fuck that code. Because we want to believe in this over here. And it's like, nigga, come on, man.
Go back and listen to this show, and you'll see exactly how hard it is to get on code. We only on a we're not drink champs. We ain't the Breakfast Club. But when you throw that out there, it starts a fire even on this little platform. When we're talking about let's be on code, let's get together, let's look at the big picture. And shout out to Ewok, because that's my man, 50 grand. I just think Ewok, and I respect to him for expressing his opinion. Yeah, and I get his disdain for Kanye West and some of the things that he sees as like Kanye. This is what he stands for, right? And this is what what he's with. I'm saying I recognize a lot of that bullshit too, but I also recognize the validity of the conversation when we start talking about how we're dominated here on a corporate level.
Right.
How many Black Fortune 500 companies are there? Do you think that's an accident? How many Fortune 500 company CEOs are there? Do you think that's an accident? Now ask yourself the same thing. How many Jewish-owned Fortune 500 companies are here? How many Jewish CEOs of Fortune 500 companies are there? And the crazy part is we was here before the fuck they was.
Yeah.
And we built this motherfucker. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm an outlaw. Fuck it. But I'm saying when we look at that, yeah, we've known that. Yes, people have talked about it, but we've always allowed those who spoke out against it to be persecuted. We never went back and said, no, we got this motherfucker back. Y'all ain't finna do this shit to us. Now, the problem is Kanye get on some other bullshit where it does when you talk about Candace Owens and pundits who politically are just against us. Your double affiliation needs to be called out, and you got to make a choice, brother. You got to make a choice. Call that shit for what it is. But we still got you because you're a Black person and you deserve the right to speak, right? And so it gets very complicated.
Hey,
that's how complicated solidarity is. Go ahead.
I don't know, but like, what if him and her found some kind of mutual ground that they could bang on something about? You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, to him, that's on code. Because, you know what I mean, from his perspective, something may make sense. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's a whole bunch of bullshit that spew out her mouth, you know what I'm saying, that he can't agree with, but you know what I mean? I may be able to get this part of my agenda accomplished.
My problem with that, Kamar, is that even in that regards, for him to come out and basically regurgitate her narrative on George Floyd, because she has a documentary coming out talking about the rise of Black Lives Matter and the greatest scam and all this kind of. First of all, you insult my intelligence as a Black person.
Hey, that's some more of the bullshit that he agreed with. I mean, that he think that we don't agree. You know what I mean? That we don't agree with. That's some more of that bullshit. And it could be something that he may really believe.
It's counterproductive.
And it may take for us to, you know what I mean, keep coming out here and saying that he may see this shit over social media and everything. Different people talking about it and giving a perspective. Because I'm sure his perspective could change too about certain shit.
Let me set that parameter since that's where we're at. Okay, so once again, we talk about being on code. In order to be on code, there's some do's and some don'ts. And one of the don'ts is don't ever be counterproductive to the people. And if you support a conservative political regime, especially the way it's run and controlled in this country, you are supporting something that's counterproductive to the people. Because at the end of the day, conservative Republicans don't give a fuck about Black people. And a lot of they policies are in place to perpetuate the subjugation of us. So that should be told to him. What do we always say on here, Kamar? You either with us or you against us. So get right with that bullshit.
Do you feel like, because I mean, the reason I don't fuck with Democrats or Republicans, but the one thing I do respect about Republicans is they make it known that they don't fuck with us. Like everything you just said about Republicans, I feel about the Democrats. The difference is they act like, yeah, we for you. Yeah, we gonna get you that health care. Yeah, we gonna get you what you need, some free food. Yeah, we got you. You know, but they still, I don't think they're any more beneficial to us or aligning with them than aligning with Republicans. But at least Republicans let you know that they don't fuck with it. Like like Malcolm said, Republicans are brute wolves and the Democrats are sly foxes. They both gonna show you their teeth, but the foxes gonna have you convinced that they smiling.
It's a couple narratives. It's a couple pieces to that, and I like that you brought that up because the truth is this: if you are under the impression that Democrats are for us, you're politically naive and you're an idiot. Because let me tell you something. Neither one of them give a fuck about us, right? You don't get no credit from me by embracing super bleeding heart liberals and apologetic white people who are basically spitting in your face saying, look, I understand what we did to you, and I just want to say I'm sorry. That's bullshit you can move around.
I'm not giving shit back, but I am sorry.
Right. But I understand, Kevin. I know, I see it, right? You can say that shit. So when I say that, I want to say this too. okay? Because neither one of them are for us, right? And you are correct in that they are. You said it's better because they show you that they don't fuck with you. Let me tell you
I just
something.
like that they show me they
There's a
don't fuck with me, so I
misnomer.
know
There's
who
a misnomer that Democrats are nice to black people. That is a fallacy. That's bullshit, right? First of all, there is no pro-black white person. That doesn't exist. that's an oxymoron. I'm the pro-black white person. That don't even make sense, right? Things be black power. You know you black. What the fuck you talking about? It's that kind of thing. So Democrats are not for black people.
Right.
Democrats do not pass legislation to benefit black people.
Right.
Do they support certain programs because it panders to voters? Absolutely. Would they say, hey, we're willing to spend some money on some welfare or some kind of social service platform for you, and it'll help you? And you say, oh, well, I'm going to vote for them. But you don't understand that a lot of those programs are counterproductive to you. They prevent you from being independent. They prevent you from being empowered. They subjugate you. So really, are they for you? Look, I'm for welfare. You think that's a compliment? Like that's like saying you're for a dark-skinned person. That's not a compliment. I don't need that shit, right? So Democrats aren't nice to black people. Matter of fact, go to Madison and go around some paid ass corporate Democrats. They'll treat you like shit. They might treat you worse than some of the Republicans would. Right? Even though this Republican just got done voting on a referendum that's gonna fuck our community, right? He gonna come out and say, hey, how you doing? I get it. They're the same fucking thing. And the power in what should be, when you start talking about being on code and solidarity, is our own political party. If the black vote fucking matters in this country, if we can get to the point where we were on code enough to say we're going to elect our officials, not yours, this whole game would change. But they do a good job of making us believe, no, I'm a Democrat. I'm gonna vote with them. Why? Why are you a Democrat?
I think there's some of the shit that Kanye banging on too.
Okay. I wouldn't disagree with you on that. Shout out to Seduction Doll from Shay and Kruma and Shabaka Sankor's Black Experience Enhanced.
Peace.
She said that's true. They don't exist. Yeah, I'm talking about. See, that's my thing. That's my thing with black people, because once again, this is part of what makes us so great. Because we about love, we about acceptance. Like if you're gonna come around and be nice to me and shit, we say you all right, bro. Come on in, man. And we do this with white people. Can always get through to us because one of them will come in and say, hell, I don't have a problem with you guys. My best friend is black. I've even heard white people say some shit like this. My nanny that raised me when I was growing up was black, and she was the sweetest woman that I ever knew in my life. Motherfucker, that's no compliment. that means you like black people? She was a part of our family. Yeah, because y'all motherfuckers felt like y'all owned her. That's why she was part of y'all family. Miss me with the bullshit. Don't be so easily led astray, right? And so when somebody is standing up, say, you know what, I support you in your stance. We say we talk about the whys, not the what. I'm not worried about what Kanye is doing. I'm worried about why he's doing it. So when you're taking a stand against Jews, I want to know, is this all about you? Because that's going to show and prove. If a business deal is made behind closed doors and you see Kanye West back all the way the fuck up, and now his clothing line is out and his fashion line is empowered, I'm trying to tell you, he's went and made a deal with him. So it was all about him. And then we call him on that. Part of being on code is saying, oh, motherfucker. So they gave your ass a look at Rihanna. We can listen, you love Rihanna, but it's time to call her out. Oh, Jay-Z, now you ain't getting no bag from it, but now Colin still ain't got no job and you gonna do the Super Bowl. Call you on your bullshit. That don't mean we don't like Rihanna. That don't mean we ain't gonna buy your music, but we will say you was on some bullshit right there. Yeah. It's okay to do. And hopefully that person will get right. The issue is wealth creates such a divide against you and your people. Because you got a great portion of the motherfuckers who absolutely hate you no matter what because you're rich. Fuck him. He just another rich nigga. You'll get blown away by that. You can be upper middle class and have a community saying fuck you. Man, dude moved all out the hood and shit, dude. With instantaneously, before they even get to know who you are or even have a conversation with you, it's always, oh man, fuck him. And that's the thing we have to eliminate. We got to be willing to say, okay, where can we agree at? We should be talking about where we agree at before we talk about where we disagree at. We start the conversation out with why I don't. This is why I don't like you. Damn, you don't even know me. You don't even know me. Because for all the things that shout out to Ewok for all the things he said about Kanye, he's never had a personal conversation with him, has never met him. You formulated this much hate and angst for this man. You ain't never even met him. It's based on what you've seen on your phone or on a computer or on a TV. So we quick to we let them decide for us. This is what we're gonna tell the niggers. This is what we're gonna tell them. Okay, make them think this guy is misogynist. Throw some anti-Semite in there. Throw some homophobic in there. We got a nice. His ass is done. Right. Kick him out the bank. Do y'all realize there's murderers walking around here who have murdered multiple people who still can bank?
Right.
There's child molesters who fucked multiple kids and went and done time. They come home and Wells Fargo and Chase don't say, "Nah, we don't support no child molestation. You can't bank here." But you said something anti-Semitic, so take your money out of here. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't no bullshit. That's not something that we should look at as black people. Say, "Nah, you know what? Let's call that." Jews, y'all do be on some bullshit. We on code with that. We know that you guys are about Jewish people. Nothing wrong with that. We need to adapt a philosophy. If we circled off our community and said we're going to have our block watches, we're going to protect our property and our kids, we want a school built here, we're willing to pay for it, we're willing to put money into it, we want this curriculum taught, we want to praise and worship here, and this is what we're going to do, and bet nobody come in here and fuck with us. We could do that easily. I know it's enough guns in the black community to form a perimeter, right? It's very hard to do Black Wall Street right now in the black community because we got guns, but we use them on each other.
Right.
Man.
And nah, man, you a thug, be a thug, right? But know that there's values to the community. Know that when you go and do your time and you come home, you're gonna have a place to go and be able to really rehabilitate yourself, right? When we come home from jail, we fall right back into the same trap we fell into before we left. There's no black safe, no landing pad. I guarantee you, I don't know at what clip Jewish people get locked up, but I guarantee you when they come home, there's some support for them in the community until he realizes or they realize this dude's just a low life. You got to get rid of him. My point is, man, I agree with Rail in that we focus way more on what we're upset about than we should. We lead the conversation with, man, fuck you. Like, we should be going to Kanye and Matt saying, brother, we hear you over here. We want to support you, but that shit's some bullshit. That Trump shit is some bullshit. That shit you talking about George Floyd, you barking up a wrong tree. And if he don't respond, if he say, nah, fuck that, I'm fucking with that. It's counterproductive. So now you on the outs. You know, what Cube say, you might have a heart attack when you find out the black folks don't want you back. Right? And that's the way it should be. It should be selective. And so I just believe, man, it's time for us to have a higher understanding, man. I think we do. And I've been critical of Kanye, and I still think there's some mental issues there. I've been critical of several individuals. I'm critical of Charleston White for the George Zimmerman shit. That doesn't take away some of the valuable things he says. When I hear him bragging in a rap song, I'm going to get this off YouTube where he's high as fuck. He's freestyling about raping white women, and I kill a white man, and I stomp a white baby's head in, and I rape a white bitch. This is him. This is your leader, right? Are you not entertained? Somebody done put some music to it. He is high as shit, and he's freestyling. And he's talking about to kill white people, stomp white people, and all this. People say, well, what's wrong with that? That goes to show you that he's getting away with saying that because of what he's doing to us. White people ain't gonna trip, but hey, he's a good nigger. I mean, he's willing to work if we need. And you best believe if they do come down on him, he gonna use the information that he got to get himself out of trouble. Well, hold on, don't take me to go over there and get them niggas. See them niggas over there? All I said was I rape white women. He's saying this, by the way. So I just want y'all to know, I'm gonna find this clip. I was gonna do a show. I'm going to put it in the People's News Network. Just to create a little balance. Because like you say, the brother is saying and doing some things that are positive for the community. His mentality is it needs to be checked. If we're going to be on code, we should say, Charleston, we appreciate the shit you do that's real, but you got to freeze all this disrespect and shit. Because I don't know no grown man who tolerate disrespect. I don't give a fuck how enlightened I am. You ain't finna disrespect me. That's all I got at the end of the day. Yeah, especially in front of my family. I had to take whatever L comes with it. I'm not gonna be disrespected. So if that's what we're gonna do, then I'd rather just not deal with you at all. And that's my criticism of him. Is he a person who we should be on code with some of his messages? Absolutely. The truth about gang banging, the truth about murder and homicide in the community and drug dealing, you can't duck that. But you also can't put it all on rappers. And your venom is so directed at them. And then you're using law enforcement behind you to say, okay, I went out here and said something personal. I crossed the line with him. He want to fight now. Y'all come get him. That's the most crazy shit I've ever heard in my life. And I don't know how we say this is cool.
People do that
It's
shit in
simply in
school
that.
all the time. That's where it originated at, where motherfuckers get talk shit and finna get their ass up when they run and get security or go to the administrator or some shit. It is the same.
And it's not cool though. We
It's
call
not.
that out. We say it's
Yeah, I'm
we say to him, oh man, you's a whole ass nigga, man, for doing that shit.
You know, he
But we're
like,
saying to him that's okay. That's all.
No, I think he just like he never be really worth my attention every time I see him. He just seemed like an angry little dude. Like I just seen a clip of him talking about 85 South Show took his show off because he getting money for being funny now, and he getting booked with higher paid gigs and shit, and he ain't a comedian, he just talks shit. So I mean the dude talks shit about everybody for anything, you know, but that just, I mean, he might be a miserable ass dude, you know, behind closed doors.
he said he got little man syndrome when he was talking that shit about T.I. He was like, you just got little man syndrome just like me. That's what it is.
Right.
Look, and then he missing an eye, then he ain't
And
the
then,
best
right.
looking cat, you know what I'm saying? Like
And then we so preoccupied with that narrative that we missed that Deion Sanders was on 60 Minutes, HBCU coach, and this never happened. You don't even really see no D1A FCS college coach
Stop
on
talking to him
60
like
Minutes.
His son ought to be the Heisman. He ought to be the Heisman front runner.
But what Deion is telling all of the black coaches and everybody who's around him is let's get on code with this shit and empower it. And you got HBCU coaches who don't like him. And fuck him, it's all about his ego. He said this, he did. This brother got HBCU athletics and HBCUs in the brightest light you've ever seen. I thought it was funny that the interviewer said, well, Deion, what is it that you're doing to really lift this up and shine a light on HBCUs? And he said, you here. That's what I'm doing. You here right now from 60 Minutes interviewing me.
Right.
The last time y'all interviewed a HBCU coach. Is he a celebrity? Absolutely. He's one of the greatest football players that ever played. That, and he's deserving of all the attention and adoration that he gets for a football player. But for a man, a black man who could go and make $20 million a year in the pros or on a Power 5 program to be this intense and this direct about, I want to empower something black. I want to make sure these people are not overlooked and underserved like they've been for the past 60 years, 70 years. They've been disrespected because their product has been given no value. There's no reason a prominent, large HBCU shouldn't be getting the same kind of money off football that an Alabama or Texas A&M is allowed to get, because our premium athletes go to them. You would think black colleges would have the best sports out of everybody. But what you do is you discount them and you subjugate them, because we know a lot of them were just gifts from your boy Rockefeller and all these dudes. They women who was bored. Those poor little niggers in Alabama need a college. I'm gonna go down there and start one. Shout out to Mary McLeod Bethune who did what she did. I'm not trying to discount her, but even Booker T. Washington, man, come on, man. We talking about they call it Tuskegee experiments, right? How does that happen for 40 years on a black college campus?
Right.
It's a lot of information and research that I've done behind this, and I would invite you to go and read, because for years they had presidents and trustees and administrators of the school who knew exactly what was going on. But guess who was behind them? Guess who was bankrolling them? Right? No code. There's no code. What code? We need to make one. If you're saying that we ain't got one, we need to make one. That's what part of Cube's plan was let's get a code. Let's get a plan, man. Let's get an agenda. How we in a meeting and we ain't got no agenda? Fuck we talking about? Oh, I was gonna bring this up. Right? We gonna end up talking about it ain't got nothing to do with why the fuck we meet. It's gonna pretty soon turn into who better, LeBron or Jordan. That ain't what the fuck we came here for, but you didn't have an agenda. So that's where it went. I'm just saying, man. I believe in solidarity, even if I don't agree with you. Just don't be disrespectful. Just don't cross the lines, right? It's levels to this shit. Disrespecting the dead, we should agree unilaterally. That's out of pocket. You know, doing as much as I respect Willie D, doing what he did was out of pocket. Does it take away from some of the impactful things that Willie D has said? No, it does not. He's been on the show. It was one of my greatest interviews. It's been some years. I got to dig through a pile of shit to find it, but it was a great interview. And so he don't get a pass for that. But I feel like Willie D will be on the contributing end more often than not when it comes to our community, as opposed to Kanye, who, when you go left of the line, you do Trump type shit and Candace Owens type shit and White Lives Matter type shit, you fucking up. And we need to call you on and say, bro, stop that shit. Stop that shit. Because you're going to need us with what's Parler that he supposedly bought, this social media platform, which Ewok said is run by a racist or somebody like that. Is that what he said?
Yeah, Candace on
her husband. Okay. So did he buy it outright, or I don't know? But even I believe, is Candace Owens' husband white? Is he a white man or is he black?
Yes, he is indeed.
He's a white. Dig this though, but dig this. The intent is to be able to have a way to stay vocal. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, y'all blocking me out. Now I'm buying my own shit. Now you can't block me out of this.
And like I said, the point of those,
you know what I'm saying?
Are that it is true freedom of speech on there. It ain't like Facebook and all that other shit where you strike and block. You say what the fuck you want on there. You want to go on there with your KKK shit on you.
And that's him making sure that they can't silence him.
Right.
Well, we all complain about the censorship and the limitations of our messages on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah.
But we still ain't made no move to start our own shit. So they ain't gonna do nothing. Latino people would do something about it.
And that right there,
do something about it.
And see, that purchase right there could be the first move.
It could be.
You know what I mean? Black people always talking about how we can't say shit on Facebook.
But you don't run
it there. But you know what I mean? You see where I'm going with this? Like this could be the first move of him creating a space for us to be able to get some vocal freedom, I want to call it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
This could be that first step for that. You know what I mean? The bang on that whole demonstration.
But you don't run
that aspect of it, I mean.
You don't run to the massa against the massa. So if she's married to a white man, and now you run into the massa. Now you think the massa go?
I put up some money. No matter who I do it with, I put up some money to make sure I can get my agenda across. Right? If I'm really for the people, and we talking about how they silence us and shit. Now he buys the platform where they don't silence you. They can't silence you. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, he kind of like making it for us now.
I just Facebook when you got them involved, it could never be that. As long as one of them is involved, it can't be that. Like it will never truly be that.
As far as freedom of speech, it can.
Let me ask you this though, Kamar. Why isn't he, Kanye or Ye or whatever, or whoever, him and other black celebrities not getting with Byron Allen saying, let's create our own social media network? Why is that?
Maybe all that's coming, but I mean, as of right now, he may need something right away. He may need to support something.
As opposed to partnering up with a white man off top, why wouldn't we partner up with us off top?
Maybe because that was
maybe because wasn't nobody fucking with him. They was calling me crazy.
So he might have offended their Jewish friends. So they like Kanye, you know
what I'm saying? I mean, we don't know how that shit go. Like, I mean, like I said, I see him securing a way for a motherfucker to be able to say what we want to say still.
I don't want to give him any credit yet because nothing has been done, but I do want to commend him. So I would commend him over crediting him. I would say you're talking some real shit about them Jewish people in that battle. But I don't want to give him credit for anything yet. I want to see how this plays out. So I reserve the right to pass judgment at this point because it's too early in the game. But I will acknowledge his willingness to stand against what is really can only be defined as tyranny. When we talk about Zionism, and we talk about the worldwide effect of Zionism, you talk about the occupation of Israel and Jerusalem. You're talking about the Palestinians by United States funded weaponry, because they've always received unconditional military support, and then so securely and secretly have been empowered in our country, as opposed to you got so much power over here and you got your own. Because where we didn't have a nation, they didn't help us reestablish anything. They helped them reestablish. Okay, y'all got fucked over in the Holocaust. Here, we gonna take something from the Palestinians. Y'all say this y'all holy land. Here y'all go. Now y'all come on over here and get deeply entrenched in America. They ain't did that shit for us yet. I do believe we have enough money to go over to the continent of Africa and say, you know what, we gonna get this for our people, for the foundational Black Americans, so they can at least have a piece of the land we stole from them. Say that again.
I said it could definitely be on the horizon.
I hope so, but I don't think Kanye would be the one to bring that era in.
I feel like it's a step in the right direction. You know, again, we talking about being silenced for the shit you talking about. Shit, if I got enough money, I'm gonna find a way to weasel my way in to where they can't silence me.
Right.
Money don't guarantee that though for a Black man.
If it's his social media, he can say what the fuck he want to say on his shit.
No, but see, once again, they control the money. So I believe that they're gonna have some way. Okay, so he'll be consistently challenged. There will be
just
so
going
many
off what
areas.
Courtney just said. Courtney, they was y'all. I don't know if Red was with her, but they was just saying that, or she was just saying that that's a platform where you can't be silenced.
Yeah, I think
the thing is, what they was doing though is so there was a few platforms that was coming out like when that whole Trump shit was going down, and it was Parler, it was it was another one because people kept well, there's Fan Base by Isaac Hayes' son. He made a social platform. I tried to make one when they kept throwing me in Facebook jail, but that's what I was gonna say. Kanye might actually have the money. For me to create my own platform, I would have had to charge, like, because it costs money to host it.
What was the one Jason used to always talk about? There was a Black social media platform.
Black Planet?
Not Black Planet. Not Black Planet. That's the first thing I thought too.
What the fuck was it?
Man, what was it? Shit. I can't remember what it was called, but it was one he used to always talk about. And I went to look at it, and it was like you had to pay to be on it. And then he said, but there's some free packages. I bailed as soon as they was like, oh, $10.99 a month, which is wrong of me. But I bounced like, no,
nah, but that's the thing. It costs money to host it, especially if you're trying to have to where it can have enough members. Like, I think for free, I can have like up to 10 to 15 members because I tried to do it. But after that, you had to have money per month to have for it to give you a capacity to where you could even have that many users on your app. But I mean, but even with that, if they don't like what you're saying, they may not be able to shut down your app. But what they do is they make it to where now Google Play Store or Apple iTunes don't carry it. So they still find, or even with Google, they make it to where your shit don't come up in search results because that's what they did. That they slowly took over the internet. So now they may not be able to call it, fighting your freedom of speech. They just call it some other shit, misinformation management and shit like that.
It's just like the Black Panthers in the 60s going to Sacramento to the Capitol with their guns. And they say, well, no, we have the right to do this. What did they do? They went and made a law that outlawed their right to have guns. We can fix that. No, they right this time. Next time we're gonna be waiting. Kamar, we had an elder on the show who said that, Kamar, help me remember this. We had an elder on the show who said one thing we have to understand is you're not gonna catch them with their pants down over and over again. You can't redo what's already been done because we caught them with their pants down that time and they've prepared. So now that won't work again. We got to do something different to catch them slipping again. I can't remember who came on the show and said that. And I said, damn, I never thought about it like that. Like they ain't gonna keep their pants down consistently. You catch them with them slipping and you give it to them. Pause. Pause. Right. But I like reinvention and thinking outside the box and being an independent thinker is entirely a part of it. I just wish that it didn't, because I feel like Kanye took 2 steps forward, but he took 3 back. So it's really no movement. It's just lateral movement. So I feel like and I think it might be too late for him to come back. to be able to really ration and say, no, you know what? That's too much. Let me focus on this. That's my belief. No, I don't know. I'm no I'm no future crystal ball reader. Kamar, what you got popping this week, man?
Tomorrow, oh shit, I forgot the name of the place, man. But somewhere down by the lake, I'll be with the Black Chamber of Commerce. They merging with we're doing an event with the Mexican Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, okay. Power move.
And it's somewhere down by the lake. I forgot the names. If they send me a flyer when they send me the flyer, I'll post it.
Yeah, put that in the people.
I'm not exactly sure. You know what I mean? Y'all may have to follow me if you want to see it. Y'all may have to follow me and see where they post. I mean, see where we're gonna be at tomorrow. But then other than that, it's gonna be about 70 degrees this weekend, so I'm gonna be at the Fondy Market Saturday. And you can use your Quest down there. So come on, get well, y'all.
Right. Well, what you got popping, man? I hope it is 70 this weekend. What you got popping?
Man, shit, still running up my TikTok. I finally can go live. I ran up enough people for that. And then also now I am recruiting for my family's prenatal care coordinator agency. So anybody 18 years or older who want to be a prenatal care coordinator that's assisting pregnant women get connected with resources, Pampers, shit like that. If that's something they're interested in, they can inbox me. My Facebook name, RELLY space JAI. If you are pregnant or have a child that is under 6 weeks old and get state health insurance and looking for a coordinator, again, they can inbox me and we could get them all connected. But yeah, man, just getting my businesses off the ground and helping my family, get theirs off the ground.
I wanted to shout Courtney's podcast out because she had an episode of her podcast up today.
I watched it today.
It's in the People's News Network. Support. Share the show. Hit the Cash App. Tell a friend. I meant to do some things with our YouTube feed tonight that I didn't do because I need to start focusing on it more. I treat it I'm neglectful of it because I'm so entrenched in trying to do this the right way that I get distracted from likes and follows and views, and those things absolutely have to be a part of what we do. And I really got to invest in marketing and pushing and people being able to hear and see and hear the show. And that's why I say share the show as much as you can. It doesn't really take anything for you to just hit share. Say, man, these motherfuckers on here talking shit. I agree here. I don't here. Dude is dumb. Dude is smart. Whoever, whatever. We want to put all hands on deck. I totally believe we should exercise intentional solidarity, but I'm not a person who's not a realist. I understand the challenges to it. It's very hard to get 3-4 black people in the room to be able to agree on any goddamn thing. I understand that. We are a people who have been divided and we remain divided. And it has a lot to do with the way we've been handled in this country and some of the lessons that they teach us in terms of what happens when you do certain things. Say or stand for this. Crusade or make noise and get mobilized about that. You will pay some consequences and repercussions depending on who you are challenging. And if you don't understand the significance of the swift justice that Kanye West received when he spoke about Jewish people, you're naive. Look, he said a lot of damaging, insulting things to a lot of people, about a lot of people. But when he said Jewish, it was, fatal swoop time. We're going to knock your feet from under you. That in itself validates what he was talking about in terms of their domination and the way that they have been maneuvering and manipulating us as a people in terms of owning our culture, owning our music, our art, our movies. And when I say ours, I mean things that were conceived, written, created by us, conceptualized by us, which they always seem to be able to come in and wrestle from our possession. He's absolutely factual and on point about this shit. There's no arguing with it. Other shit is a matter of opinion. I'm sure there's some black people out there who like Candace Owens. I don't know none of them. That don't mean it ain't none out there who, because some people at the end of the day just get tired of status quo and be like, I got to start looking into some other shit because the shit we doing ain't working. And I totally understand that. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to separate the lie from the jive, right? We got to look at what's important and what's not. If I'm out here winning this fight, hitting you where it hurts, you're going to throw a disclaimer or a distraction up for me to take my eye off the prize and lose sight of it. That's what they've always done. Bait and switch, divide and conquer. Same things over and over and over. And it's time for us to be big. You'd say, pull up your big boy drawers, pull up your big girl panties. It's time for us to take control of our own narrative and say, we're not worried about what you say. We don't care what you think. This is what we think. This is how we see it. This is what we need. This is what we define. This is what we demand. Until we start doing that, man, we're going to be running in place. You know, we used to say on the show, it's public masturbation. You playing with yourself and everybody can see it. You got to understand, man, you either with us or against us, man. And if you're doing some kind of productive in the community, then you are an enemy of the community. And that's the only way you can say it. So I can't be good and feed hungry people in the morning and then rob motherfuckers at night. Because I'm not totally with us. I'm against us, right? And that's the thing we have to tell these individuals when they jump off out the window like Kanye did, right? Because a lot of the people, I think Vince Tony made the point of, it's people who are more scared for Kanye than he is. When I see all these celebrities who we know are in bed with these Jewish corporations saying, oh, I think he done it now. Oh, he in trouble now. You motherfuckers wasn't that scared when he said white lives matter. When he said all this kind of crazy shit, when he was doing the Trump shit, you wasn't scared then. So it's time to call a spade, man. Shout out to Kerry Walker Jones. Shout out to everybody who watched the show. She said exactly, and as misguided as Candace Owens has become, there's some truth in what she says sometimes. Hey, man, even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? You have to understand that, right? We always keep saying on this show, you got to be able to chew up the fish and spit out the bones, man. We'll be back next Monday, man. I'm going to be on my shit. I really want this show to be a symbol of solidarity because I feel like on here we can have discussions and at the end of the day walk away and all still be brothers and sisters, man, and be able to live to fight another day. And you know, you always going to have somebody somewhere whose criticism of the community is way more than their contribution to the community. Sometimes you just got to send that person a text and say, your ass is a coon. I'll see y'all Monday, man. Peace and love, man. Capital Drive and Atkinson, stand up. Man, y'all be safe, man. Keep your head on the swivel. Dynamite. 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 Dynamite.